right, and we're back. I am your host, Mike. This is a Taproom podcast, episode 41. On this one, I talked to Nadav from Long Beach Beer Lab. We had a great time. We it was almost a 3-hour interview, so it should be a pretty good one. Talked a little bit about everything, but we had a great time. But on the intro, I have that handsome man from Noble, Jimmy.
As I look up in the horizon.
Exactly.
Just,
with that smoldering look.
It's good to be here. Again, It's been a while.
I know, been a while, and glad to have you back. But Josh couldn't be on today, so Jimmy got to jump on in. Water's fine. So what's new at Noble this week?
This week we have actually started doing these seltzers. And I know, for me personally as a brewer, seltzers are off-putting.
Yeah.
So we decided we're going to do them a little different. Kind of make mocktails. I guess that's what they're called, but cocktail-type seltzers. So they're all tiki-inspired. That's our big push right now. And we just did 2 hazies right now, trying to use some of the thiolized yeast and some incognito. Doing some new things, trying to introduce new flavors, make things a little bit better. So, it's step by step.
Yeah.
So, each one gets a little bit better, but we're happy with what we have now.
Awesome.
It's just about moving forward. How can we make this a little bit better?
Oh, yeah. And I feel like that's the brewer's mantra. It's you make a good one, and then you're like, all right, the next time you're like, how can I make it even better?
Yeah. If you're not constantly evolving, you're just kind of getting left behind. It's kind of the name of the game here.
Yep. Quick, get busy living, get busy dying.
Yeah.
All right, so what are we going to try first?
So we're going to try the first one we have. It's called California Double. It's our collab with Lake Arrowhead and our good friends up there, Rich and Hunter. We went up there, That one right there, we went up there, I think, about 2 months ago to do a collab at their place, which is probably the nicest brewery I've ever seen in my entire life.
Awesome.
I just want to live up there. They're right on the lake. It's just nice. They're great people, just across the board, taproom people, the management, the owners, the brewers. Great time. We went up there and we actually introduced them to incognito. They hadn't used it before.
Oh, nice.
And it was something that we went up there and we tried to give them something that more represents what's going on down here. Not saying that we're at the top of that by any means, but some of the breweries around here are just pushing absolute fire, using some of the incognito and the higher hopping rates, and really pushing some rad stuff. So we went up there and did a 7 pounds per barrel hazy.
Okay.
There was, Nectaron, those hops that you use maybe once a year because they cost so much. And decided to come back here, and we switched up this time. So the one up there, I did the hop bill. This one, he did the hop bill. I did the grain.
Okay.
And so we went more of our style here, which is a lot more on unmalted wheat at the moment. That always changes, but so we had we liked what we picked up off of Creature, and we're just trying to do that over again with what their mindset was for hopping. So this one's a lot of unmalted wheat, some oats, some Pilsen.
Okay.
Which is our typical base malt for our hazies. We like it lighter, that yellow hue to it.
Yeah.
And then on the hopping side, we just we went wild with incognito, just knocked out hot into it, about 4 kilograms of it in a 20-barrel batch, and then threw in some Nectaron, which is just one of the dankest hops you get from New Zealand, just like a Citra from New Zealand. It's just like a mix of Citra and Nelson. And just kind of finished off with some Galaxy at the very end, a lower temperature, just to let more thiols push through as opposed to the terpenes. So we get a little bit more dankness at the end of it. I mean, right now it's a tad bit green, but you'll pick it up when you try it.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
So we got that greenness falling out, but you get that citrus note on the nose, and we taste it. And slowly, day by day, we get a little bit more dankness coming through. But we're happy with it.
Oh, dude, this is great. Because it is I like because, some hazies can be really heavy.
Yeah.
It's super light, and I feel like it's crushable. What's the percentage on this one?
I think that's 7.25.
That's pretty dangerous, yeah.
And it was actually funny. Well, we actually, you say that, but we used the yeast we hadn't used before, at least in part, and everything finished at much higher gravity than we'd otherwise like.
Wow.
So they're actually pretty thick. And we think that's part of the reason why the haze we didn't get was, kind of up to our standards, or just a hazy in general.
But
otherwise, the flavor is coming through every day, and we're happy with the flavor, and I think that's what matters most.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all about the taste, because, once you dial that in, I'm sure you'll make adjustments. But if you guys made another batch or anything like that, but it tastes amazing.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Every time I come over here and I get to see you, I always want to, I'm always trying to drink anything.
Well, I'm always trying to get you to drink.
Oh yeah.
Randomly, I'll come up with a beer or two for you every time you're here.
Oh
just
no doubt.
keep pushing it at you.
Oh yeah. And I love trying all that stuff. What do we got next?
We got next is actually this isn't my beer. This is the Felt series that Paul Watson does. My other half, one of my other halves here.
There you go.
And he's just like, I love Paul to death. Every time we do these Felt series, he does them. It's always a little better. It's a little different. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of R&D, like in terms of like whirlpool temperatures, getting on to like using new products, new hops that we haven't used before, trying to incorporate some new stuff. So this one was actually, we were actually really excited about this one. So the primary hop in this is Racal, which is not truly like one of those hops from New Zealand that you see a lot. Like it's not one like the Nectrons or the Rawakas or the Nelson. But this one we opened up the bag and it was just cannabis. It's all we could smell is cannabis, and it was like one of those pellets. So like when you get hot pellets, like one of the big things is how well is it going to dissolve into the solution, or at least break up, right?
Of course.
And these guys were just like powder, so we were just throwing it in there, and like day one, this thing just smelled like weed. It just armpit, foot, like.
Trying to think of what notes I'm kind of getting from.
Yeah, I know. It's one more time. Oh, my palate's screwed up right now.
No, it's all good. But
you do get
like
a dankiness, and it's just like, because these are so fresh. We just carved them, I think, gosh, maybe a week ago, and we do that in our tanks.
Nice.
It tends to add some greenness to it.
Okay.
So like some things get pushed up from the bottom that you wouldn't expect to get, so it's kind of like a conditioning process in the can, which is, for a lot of breweries, that's the way it is,
of
right?
Course.
So like, it's nice to see like every day cut gets a little bit better and people are happy with it. And so, I mean, like we're happy with these. They're in the right direction.
Awesome.
So I think like next week we're going to be doing some new stuff that we're pretty excited about, just to kind of build on this.
Yeah.
And right now it's just kind of about, that's really what the game is, hop selection and hop usage. So right now it's just kind of, we know what we like, and now we're trying to push it a little bit harder.
Yeah.
See how we can make that flavor pop. Given enough time to condition.
Because I love New Zealand, anything New Zealand, like hops or anything like that. If you guys ever do like a New Zealand style like Pilsner, I'll be waiting. I'll be banging on outside the door waiting for you guys to open.
Oh yeah, there's we keep talking about that. We want to do one. It's just a matter of doing it right. Sometimes you can't do something until like all those random puzzle pieces that are coming
when things come together,
and they finally just like meld together, and you feel like you have a whole idea on what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And you see some of these beers out there, they're just like the amazing like Timbo pills and stuff that. Oh my gosh, so good, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like when you use that as your bar, it's like hard to take that first step,
Oh yeah.
So I feel like we're just about there. It's just a matter of just being comfortable with the way we're doing it, pushing the flavor we like.
Of course, you got to dial it in. And
there's rough drafts and there's rough drafts.
Yeah,
we're trying to avoid that latter one.
Oh, for sure.
This is where things get crazy. So
yeah, I know. I'm excited about this one.
This is Shrunken Skull. So all of these are tiki beers. They're representations of tiki drinks.
Okay.
Everything except for the rum basically is what we have in there, and we just approximate the flavors. We do everything on these. It starts in a 5-gallon SS brew tank tech.
Oh, shit.
That we use a little 1.6-gallon little recirc brink that we've created.
Yeah.
And so like we do everything like at 5 and then scale it up to like 10 or 15 barrels.
Okay.
And everything comes out of Paul's. Paul has these books in the back, a couple of them, these tiki books. I started rifling through them and finding recipes we can make. And once we made, this was actually the first one we kind of really made other than the pineapple that was just kind of straightforward.
Yeah.
So this is actually pomegranate. So pomegranate cut with grenadine, which is just pomegranate simple syrup.
Yeah.
It's like a typical tiki mixer, and a ton of lime juice to cut back through it. So like you don't get the lime or the pomegranate. They kind of commingle to create what I think is almost like a very like cherry-like flavor. It's kind of odd to me how this works.
Let's do it. Well, that'll get you there. And it's not even boozy.
I know. Yeah.
I was expecting, because it's 11%, right?
That one's 10. The other
10?
one we brought the drink is 11. But they
Oh, okay.
So basically we found that when we get to a certain point, when we get a good nice texture, that there's certain like acids or like spices that will cut through that alcoholic heat to make it dangerous.
Yeah.
So and our big thing was when we were making these last 2 weeks, they were kind of a mess because we'd put it out like a little 5-gallon tank for herself on the tap and start drinking it. And you don't think, you pour yourself like 12 ounce.
Yeah.
12 ounce being
of course
kind to myself because we know it was bigger. And then you finish one glass and you just have this smile that won't go away and your face is a little flushed and you realize this might not be a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, shit. That's awesome.
I feel like, it's fun. It's like, it's almost like we're trying to bridge a gap here, right?
Of course.
I know some that might raise eyes as, these are basically cocktails.
Yeah.
Right?
But you know what? Like so many breweries are doing it now too. So you have to have that on the menu or that on the tap list. Mm-hmm. But dude, this is freaking. Damn.
Yeah, no, it's just trying to take it to the next level, right?
Yeah, it's killer because I think I tried this one when you poured it out of the tank. Was it out of the tank? I think you poured me like a little short pour of something like this. I want to say a few weeks ago when we hung out.
Oh yeah, that was probably actually the original batch.
Yeah, I think it was. But you know what? It tastes similar, but it's still like different. Maybe because it's had been kind of going through the motion, not the motions, but like going through its process. I mean,
well, no, actually, so it's weird about these. So the flavor. So this time, basically, what we did is we just threw, as opposed to last time, a lot more lime juice. We felt like the lime juice, like the acidity really cuts through the pomegranate flavor and it really creates something brand new. So like you almost get, when you taste it, you get like almost like you're biting into like a cherry pie in my head. And it shouldn't taste like that, but it does. And just these, like once you get them right, these balanced, these flavors, this lime, this pomegranate, they just kind of create something new. Yeah. We were stoked on this. And there wasn't like when we made this, it wasn't like the one that we were trying to push out front really hard in terms of being like a fan favorite or something everybody needs to drink. Yeah. But like, I feel like we've had a lot of compliments.
Dude, I feel like this one's gonna like just go like.
And it's we love it, and we have I think my favorite part, and I wish Josh was here for this, is the art and the connect, like just the people helping us do this in the industry. So like Leonard Chan over at Stowaway has been amazing. Him and Dominic,
awesome,
have helped us a ton trying to get this all dialed in, and then we have Tiki Tony who actually created the label for the Mai Tai we're about to drink. And then we accidentally sent them the wrong cans. But just some of the help we're getting to do this has been amazing. Just the support in the back, because the marketing matters so much, right? Yeah. Like it has to look good, and when it looks good and it tastes good, you kind of feel you've done something right. Yeah,
you gotta like, especially like, and I think I told Josh like before, and we've talked about it because I know his marketing background and all that sort of stuff. Like because there's there's so many different beers out. You go to a craft beer liquor store, there's so many cans to choose from. So you need something that just pops on the shelf, because that's going to draw people in. Because you could have the best hazy or the best West Coast or anything like that, but if you don't have something that kind of pops, word of mouth is the best kind of advertising. But that initial, like when you're going to pick a beer, like oh, this one has whatever on it, or like someone from Star Wars, I want that, or this, or you know what I mean.
No, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you want to drink what catches your eye, because that word of mouth, if it's like us, where you're making like 10 barrels, by the time you learn about it, it's already gone. Yeah. Right? So I mean,
but then again, it could be too like you're like, oh, well, I gotta follow them to make sure that when it does come back out again, I'm there the next time.
Yeah, I mean that's the hope, right?
Yep, for sure. And this one's
this is the holiday Mai Tai. So it's a Mai Tai, but it's more. So it's got the pineapple, the orange, the lime. What does it have? The I can't say it right. It's basically almond mixer in there, and I think this has a touch of grenadine in there. I want to say is what it was. And then we just threw a lot of cranberries to push the cranberry really forward to make it more holiday-esque. Yeah. And at the very end, we felt like it wasn't like our initial thought but we felt like there needed to be spice, so we threw in just a touch of cinnamon on the back note. That really, like, you'll try it. I feel like this is one of those ones where it was like, add a little bit. There was we were all down at the end, but like trying to get there was like, it was kind of a mess.
And this is it's called Mela Kalikimaka.
I can't pronounce this name. Like,
that's okay.
I just write my holiday. You're like, I just make holiday Mai Tai. That's my.
There you go. Yeah, I'm getting a 4-pack of that before I leave. There you go.
It is something else, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, you get like, it feels like I was going to use a big word and say like amalgamation of flavors, but it's like,
well, I mean, that's exactly what it is.
Totally work.
Yeah. It was like when it finally worked, it was kind of, pure luck. Absolute pure luck.
But that's awesome though. I mean, like, and this one's 11.
Yeah, this one's 11.
That'll get you there.
It will get you there, yeah. And yeah, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's fun.
Oh, I'm gonna get a 4-pack. I'm gonna go visit some of my buddies after, and my buddy's wife, she loved like the Monster Blood and all that sort of stuff you guys do.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna tell her it's 11%.
That's me. Yeah.
So we'll see how she does.
Yeah, I had more than a couple friends text me on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
With the cans.
Yeah.
Like, my mom drank one, and now she can't feel her arms.
Yeah.
Was what I text
What did you do to my mother?
Yeah. I was like, oh, well,
Yeah, you should have just texted back, said you're welcome.
Yeah, memories. Memories.
Did you have a good Thanksgiving though?
Yeah, of course I did. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we did the traditional turkey stuffing, gravy, everything like that. It was nice, sit down, watch movies.
Awesome.
Like a little kid. So those nice days, during the holidays for me personally, doing the stupid shit. Not stupid, but like the puzzles, the Legos that my family always used to do.
There you go.
Right? Putting them together, acting like a kid again.
Yeah.
Getting involved in them. So yeah, I love the holidays, and it's fun. They're finally back, and like with this all going around us too. I feel like this year it's been a long path for us here. It's been so short, but I feel like we're taking steps in the right direction. Some backstepping.
Mm-hmm. That happens.
Some things happen that shouldn't happen, but
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like even like you and I were talking, off air for a minute about the first episode when you and Paul and Josh were on. Like, doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but it was like in March.
Yeah.
And from where you guys were then, because I know like Josh was like truly trying to push, and you guys as well, like trying to push to bring this place back, and not bring it back, but like just kind of like do something different, like kind of be separate yourself from everybody else in the area. And I feel like you guys have just taken major strides along that area, because everything you guys have put out like has, at least since I've been here, they've all been freaking.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Like your man's milk too, just so you know.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I know. People love my man's milk.
Yeah, there you go.
No, we have, I think we just work together really well. It's not like it just comes from me by any means. It's not even close to that. Like, Paul has input. Even Josh tries to get in there and dictate recipes sometimes. It's kind of funny. I mean, but like, the ideas sometimes don't come from like making a certain flavor. Yeah. It comes from like Josh and the marketing standpoint. I want you to make this, the Harry Porter, to match that. And there was like, it was to make it, do as good as possible. The same with the hef. Stuff like that. Like that all came from the marketing side for us, to write it. And we took some input from some other people, got some like amazing hefts from other places to try them, see what we liked. Yep. And then me and Paul came together, and Cam just and wrote the actual like technical aspects, because we actually ran it through like rests that most people don't, like heat mash rests, decoctions, things like that, just because we can. And because, I don't know, we want to see what happened. We truly don't know half the time what's coming out of this, but it tends to be okay at the end of the day.
Awesome.
And Cam just does a great job brewing. And we, I feel like we've become closer over this time. So doing a lot of things is a lot easier for us. Like, we're moving faster, and we're seeing across the board for all of us improvement.
Oh, yeah.
Like small steps, but in the right direction, to the point where it's kind of starting seemingly to come together in a way that like everything's where we would like it to be.
Yeah. And it's about growth, man.
100%.
Yeah. Like doing all that. What I'd love to do one day before we finish up is if we can get, because Cam hasn't been on the show, so I think that would be really fun to do like a brewers roundtable and have you guys just talk about like, everything, whether like all the stuff you love or all the stuff like that can be frustrating, your favorite hops, all that. I think that would be pretty.
Oh, you guys will enjoy that one.
I think that would be freaking hilarious.
Yeah, it's like a circus.
Oh, but I love it though.
No, I know, right?
People love to hear that stuff. So, but man, thank you for being on. You guys are killing it again, and gonna have to.
We're going there.
Taking some 4-packs.
I finally get to write my first West Coast recipe for this place.
Oh, fucking right.
Yeah. So we got a whole bunch of stuff. I think going forward, we're actually going to turn this back alley place into something that's actually like, approachable now.
I fucking love that.
I know, right? So we got this whole tiki theme going, and going forward, I think that Josh and Paul have really got themselves set on building like a tiki hut that kind of like, or even turning this room into a tiki room.
That would be awesome.
So yeah, doing that and just getting the Westies is a big one. Like we really haven't done too many Westies here, and I feel like that's something and even the ones we do, the old ones, like they're good, but they're not anything approachable compared to everything else around here.
Yeah.
So
I'm totally down for that, brother.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
No, all good, man. Thank you. So make sure, if you're in the area, come down to Noble. It's right by Angel Stadium. Or if you're going to a Ducks game, come on down. Or if you just want to come down and have a beer, Jimmy or Paul or Josh is usually around. Stop by and say hi, and crack a brewski. And so let's. I hope you guys enjoy the interview with Nadav. Like I said, it was about a 3-hour interview we did. It was fucking hilarious. We had a good time. But I will put the timestamp in the description. But I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving, and I will talk to you in a minute. All right, guys, we're back in the tap room, and I have a very special guest on today. He's a buddy. I feel like we've become buddies over time now. The great Nadav from Long Beach Beer Lab. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good.
Thanks for having me back.
Oh, I'm glad you could be back, and that's why I knew you were leaving soon. So I was like, so I reached out. I was like, man, can we make this happen one more time? But man, what you been up to?
With the upcoming move, we've just been kind of putting things in line here at the lab to get things in order so that everything continues to run smooth. And then on a personal level, the wife and I have just been, getting all of our ducks in a row, our paperwork straight so that we can jet set back to the homeland.
There you go, man. And have they, does your replacement know he's got big shoes to fill?
I don't really have a replacement per se.
Yeah.
That was one thing my boss Levy always says. He's like, I'm not going to find another you.
Yeah,
so
of course.
I'm just going to have to find multiple people to be pieces of you. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what happens when you work with one of your best friends. So.
Oh, of course. I mean, and that's one of the things I think when we had our first conversation, you could really tell like the family atmosphere, like even talking about dad beer, and then the beer, was it the beer with his mom on there? Yeah, I mean, you could really sense like that family type atmosphere that you guys have here.
Yeah. We're a nice big family. Very dysfunctional, but
every family is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And one of my questions was going to be today, I was going to ask you if you had have you brewed your last beer here? And it turns out you have.
Yes,
Can you tell us about this one that I'm about to have?
Yeah, so this is called Way to the World. I did not actually name that. That was Levy chose that name. It is, I wanted to brew the last West Coast IPA that I was going to be straight up in charge of here, and I was really, really wanting to use my favorite hop, which is Rawaka.
Okay.
It's a really, really cool hop. It is a little bit expensive. But the notes that it gives off of just like this crazy papaya, mango, lychee sort of explosion.
Yeah.
And then, I was just very lucky because I managed to find it for not $1 million a pound.
There you go.
So Levy was like, just go for it. And so we just threw a lot of that in here and just gives these huge punch aromas, and it's also super dry.
Awesome.
So
okay. We were just talking about your brewed squad, so that was super dry. So I'm sure I'm gonna love this. But cheers, brother.
Cheers, brother.
Yeah. I still love these. Love the glasses.
Yeah, the Stange glasses are great. I don't know. This is like a preferred drinking glass for me and Levy. We like these ones because it's a little bit smaller. You don't need necessarily a whole pint the whole time. But also just like the fact that it's straight, it kind of helps with the aroma. So you can really stick your nose in there and get a good whiff out of it too.
That's freaking delicious. But I'm trying to figure out what is it the Rawaka, or is it like that flavor I'm getting? I'm trying to.
So one of the flavor things that we did here is so with a lot of our recipe creations, a lot of our West Coast IPAs, it's all like base malt with just a little bit of like wheat in there, just to like help with like head retention and whatnot.
Gotcha.
But with this one, we just did pure Pilsner malt, so we pulled out the wheat.
Gotcha.
So you're really just getting this very, very delicate, light, water crackery sort of flavor.
Okay.
Which really, the way that I always think about it is that using that sort of light base malt for such a large proportion or entirely is it's like having like a blank canvas to allow your hops to come and really shine through.
Okay.
So that's one thing I really liked about this is that there's a little bit, the light, tiny bit of malt flavor there, but just like those hops are just able to just go to town and just take the forefront of everything on that.
For sure. And man, it's really good, and it's super light, and it is refreshing, but it does have that distinct kind of flavor to it. And I was trying to figure out, I couldn't pinpoint it, but it's freaking really good, man.
Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Went out with a bang, right?
Yeah. I gotta have my last hurrah.
Oh yeah. And what's the Rowaka hops? What makes them so expensive? Is it like just where they're from, or?
So I was talking with one of the hop representatives at CBC about Rowaka, and she just looks at me and she goes, "This hop is a bitch to grow."
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a very this, for whatever reason, these hops, the way that they grow on the trellises, and they're just very difficult to work with.
Oh wow.
I guess their lifespan is also just like not as long or whatever.
Oh.
But they have such great fragrance and aroma and flavor to them, but they're just really difficult to work with. So the price of that drives them up real high. Like when I was looking for this hop, I was seeing prices at like $26 a pound, which is really high. The average mid-level hop, you're looking somewhere between $14 and $16 to $17 a pound.
Oh wow.
And this one was just like 26, and I was like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Then I found a sale.
Oh, there you go. It's almost Black Friday.
Yeah.
That's awesome though. I mean, is it? I was wondering, because if it's like they're hard to grow, is it because of like sometimes the soil or the location? Do they only grow them in certain places? Or?
Well, yeah. This is a New Zealand hop.
Okay.
So it comes from far away.
Yeah.
I don't really know the flora.
Yeah.
Problems directly behind it, but the look on that lady's face when she was just like, "This hop is such a bitch to grow." I was like, "All right."
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you would think growing in the Shire it probably would be fruitful and stuff like that, but it wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, but you have all these hobbitses running around.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so cool. And I saw you guys did the Dark Lord of the Pith recently, and we will talk Star Wars on the show, so everybody be ready for that. Well, when did that one come out? Because I saw it was just recent, right?
Yeah, so we actually just re-released it last night.
Okay.
At a tap takeover that we did at Bar Envy.
Okay.
So we made a new batch of it, and we've been sitting on it, keeping it squirreled away for safety. And then last night we did a tap takeover. We had 9 of our beers on tap there.
Yeah.
And we released it, and it just was, people were buying it.
Yeah.
They said it was, better than the last one even, which obviously always makes me feel great.
Of course.
And we released a special shirt with it, which was really cool. This like very vintagey looking Star Wars-y shirt.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. I'm going to have to check out that shirt for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to have to see if we have any left.
Yeah. See if there's anything stored away.
Yeah. Might have one or two saved in the office for, special occasions.
There you go. Oh man, so I know you had been. This was your last beer, but were you guys had any other new stuff that you guys done recently?
Oh yeah, so we have right over there next to you the other beer we just released not that long ago. Our RIP collab with our good friend Danny down there.
Awesome.
It's called Sticky Whiskers. It's a cold IPA that was also made with glucose solids, rice solids.
Oh, nice.
So it's super drinkable. It's also we used a really cool hop extract on that called Ricau Keef.
Oh.
It's a Freestyle Hops has been making these different Sub-Zero Keef extracts, and they're just like these little tiny like metal bottles, and they just pack these huge punches of aroma and stuff.
Wow.
And it's just like, I was telling you, like the aroma on that is definitely one of the punchiest aromas we've had on a beer in a little while. And that keef just like pushes the extra edge on it and really gives you this like I know we make a lot of beers that are described as dank.
Yeah.
But this is like dank plus.
Oh, dang.
It's super dank, and just It's really cool. I mean, you'll stick your nose in that glass and you'll smell it. It's really good. We also put out, not that long ago, after 3.5 years of asking for it, we did a black IPA, which is really, really cool.
Awesome.
I messaged the masters that I know of making black IPAs for their input, and it came out better than I expected it to. And it was really good. I was very, very happy with it. It obviously has room for improvement. It's not the perfect, but none of my beers are the perfect beer. I'm honest enough to know that.
Oh yeah, but brewers always they're always striving for, like, you rarely find someone that they're like, oh yeah, it's perfect. I don't need to ever do anything to this thing again. Yeah. You want to make it better every time.
Of course. You know, that's one of the things that we're really, like, Levy and I are always nitpicking our own beer. Yeah. Just being like, what did we do wrong this time? How can we make it better? Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked about the stuff we've been putting out recently. And then a little bit further down the line, we do have a really fun event planned. Nice. For mid-December time. We haven't put an exact date on it yet. Okay. But it is going to be the last, like, beer, dessert, movie pairing of the year. Uh-oh. And it is going to be Big Lebowski themed. Oh, awesome. So that's sweet. I have 4 special beers planned for that that are going to start brewing up this week, actually. Awesome. You said that's the 15th? I don't know which date I don't know which date it is yet, but it's going to be the mid-end December. Okay. And it's going to be a really good time. We have some really cool, fun stuff planned for it. Well, I will just let me know the date, and I will be here for that. I will shoot it right over to you. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, like, who doesn't love the Big Lebowski? I mean, you gotta have something wrong with you if you don't like the Big Lebowski. Exactly. And these masters you were talking about the black IPA, were they located on Coruscant, or where were they? Well, they may have been some Mandalorians with some Beskar steel. There you go. Because I definitely want to talk a ton of Star Wars, but I'm like, obviously I'm hinting at it already. But I know, like, so you're all geared up for the move. You're ready to go. Yeah. I'm just trying to sell off stuff that I'm not taking with me. So if you know a guy who's looking for a MetaQuest 2. Okay. If you got any other Star Wars stuff, you just let me know. That stuff's actually all coming with me. You actually inspired me for one of my purchases that I bought. That's definitely coming with me, is the Star Wars Shakespeare. Oh, yeah. I love them. Aren't they great? They are amazing. Yeah. I remember I saw them because I don't know how many years ago it was. I want to say, maybe it was around 2013 or 14, I think, maybe when they came out. And I just happened to go to a bookstore in Whittier, and I was like, what the hell is that? And I was like, got all 3. I think I have the originals and then the prequel ones. But yeah, they're so awesome. Yeah, so I got a used copy off of some website with used books, and I got the A New Hope. Oh yeah, and that one, I love it. It's just like displayed on my shelf now with a lightsaber right in front of it. That's awesome. We could get into your brewery when you're and all that stuff, but let's just jump into Star Wars. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, we might as well. Yeah. Ahsoka just came out, but we'll start with Obi-Wan. Okay. Thoughts? Yeah, I felt that sigh. That's the first feeling. Yeah. Big old sigh. This is what I'll say. I really like Ian McGregor as Obi-Wan. Oh yeah, I really do. I think he does a great job for the role. Oh yeah. I did feel that the story of that show was a little pointless. Yeah. It didn't, to me, add anything to the Star Wars universe. Yeah. And the biggest thing for me with that was that there have been so many books and stories written about the time, the middle time, in between the end of Return of the Jedi, well, not even just Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Yeah, for sure. That whole time there was so many books and stories that have been written about things that Obi-Wan had done. Yeah. And instead of taking one of those, whether it was, going to rescue some Jedi that were hiding away or fighting Inquisitors or whatever, all these different things that they could have done, they just decided to take the same characters that we know and we know survive.
Yeah.
And just run a poorly directed plot that kind of dragged on and had lots of times of seemingly teleporting between tops and bottoms of buildings or across large landscapes. Just lots. I found lots of poor directing, poor acting, poor writing.
Same.
It was just kind of a letdown. I was expecting to see him kind of be like a badass and kind of like survive a bunch of different things, but instead he just kind of had like a mission that from the start, everyone's gonna live. Yeah, like Leia's such an important part of the story.
Yeah, I felt
later
like
on.
there were really no stakes. And one thing about don't get me wrong, it was cool seeing Anakin and Obi-Wan fight again, and it was cool that seeing Hayden back in the suit and him being on the show. But I was like, man, you just ripped off Rebels with that whole scene with the cuts off half of his mask. I was like, that was disappointing for me more than anything. I was like, man, like you could have done like so much more with it. Like I liked the fight where Vader was just beating the shit out of him when he was where he lost the Force.
Force.
Yeah,
that was another one. That was genius planning.
Yeah, I know. It just felt like they could have cut out 3 episodes, and you could have just made it a 3-hour movie for Disney Plus or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was so excited because Obi-Wan has always been my favorite, and I was like, man.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing for me that once I saw it, like, just completely and utterly broke the show. Yeah, and I was just like, I'm gonna watch it because I just need Star Wars content.
Of course,
I'm going to have running commentary as I watch this.
Oh, no doubt,
without end. Was the scene where they're on that grassland planet and they're trying to get through the gate, and the Empire has a blockade gate. Yeah. And they're like, we need to get through this gate. And Obi-Wan's like on one side. He's like, the lock doesn't work. You have to go to the other side. And then he like slashes something, and then they show the above shot, and there was just like all of this, like they could have just walked around the gate. There was like literally nothing stopping them. Yeah. And it was just like, what? Yeah. Like this is horrible directing.
I know.
Like what was the point of this scene then?
Yeah. Broken. There was times like where I was like watching, like like you said, like between like Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. It's like, man, just make something like freaking like Shadows of the Empire or something like that. Give me fucking Dash Rendar.
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
Oh man, great game.
Yeah, I love that game. Remember the one? It was like, I think it was like the train. There's the 2 levels that I would always die, and it took me like a million tries just to kind of navigate where I was going. Was that speeder scene? And then the one when you're on the train, because I felt like every time I jumped or I missed something, I was flying off that thing.
Yeah, they could have. That would have been great. Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah.
Or they could have done like Dark Forces.
Oh yeah.
Could have had a whole Kyle Katarn thing.
Oh yeah.
It's another one they could have brought in, but they just they just want to keep using those same contracts.
I know. It's like, for me, it's like DC with Batman. Don't get me wrong, I love Batman, but how many more it's like every animated show has Batman in it, and every movie has Batman in it, and everything else. And like I said, don't get me wrong, I love me some Batsy, but come on,
there's been a lot of Batman.
Yeah. It's like, give me another soup. But they did make My Adventures of Superman on like an anime version of it on HBO. I don't know if you've seen that.
My Adventures of Superman?
Yeah, and it's like drawn in like anime style. Oh, it's actually really good.
Oh, that title though, it makes me think of like the Real Housewives of something. Like,
yeah,
My Adventures of Superman.
Yeah. Oh, it's My Adventures with Superman.
Oh, with Superman.
Yeah. So it's like Lois is in it. Yeah, Lois is in it, and Jimmy's in it.
Okay.
So I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, that's weird. I never even heard of this. And then they just threw it on HBO Max. I was like, this is actually really good.
Yeah. I was watching on HBO Max the Harley Quinn.
Oh, it's so fun. Hilarious.
That was a hilarious show.
Oh, it's so
very
good.
not safe for kids.
Oh, definitely not.
Hilarious.
Don't let
So
your kids
funny.
watch that show. But Dr. Psycho, King Shark, they're so good.
It was great.
Even Clayface.
Oh God, Clayface, an amazing actor.
Oh yeah, he's great.
With lots of bravado.
Oh yeah, yeah, you nailed that. That was perfect. Oh yeah, but there's so much good stuff out there. It's kind of hard to keep up sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But with Star Wars, I feel like sometimes it can be over convoluted. But I feel like you said, like if you do something, some of those like legends kind of things, like because they have like the that Marvel What If show. Why don't they do like a Star Wars What If? Like I thought that would be
incredible.
Yeah. Like I was thinking, like, because I don't know if you remember. I mean, I don't know when it came out, but I had a copy. I still have a copy. I'm pretty sure it's the one, the Star Wars comic where Han Solo crash lands on Earth, and he dies. Chewie escapes, and then Chewie is the Bigfoot that everybody saw.
What?
Yeah, I want to say I have it in. I'm pretty sure I have a copy of it in storage. But yeah, that was my I remember reading that. I was like, what?
That is
Chewie's Bigfoot?
That is very interesting.
Yeah. And that's and then Indiana Jones is the one that finds Han's bones, and he's going after Chewie.
That really comes full circle.
Yeah, it totally does.
Why does my skeleton look like my skeleton?
Yeah. Why does this guy look like me? Yeah, but it was like I remember reading it as a kid and thinking what? Like my mind was blown. It was because you never saw things cross over like that. But I mean, you guess Indiana Jones, you do see R2 and 3PO on the wall thing, and even with ET, the ET people being in is it the first one?
I think it was.
Is it Phantom Menace?
No, I think it was Attack of the Clones.
Is it Attack of the
second
Clones?
one because it was in the
Imperial Senate.
The Senate. They had their own booth,
yeah,
floaty thing, whatever you call it.
And I remember when I tell people, they're like, "No, they're not." I was like, "Here it is." They're right there pointing. Everybody's pointing at everybody.
Everything is connected.
Yeah. A buddy of mine used to nail the Execute Order 66. So, yeah, I can't do it that well. When I've had too much to drink the night before and I wake up in the morning, sometimes I could do the Precious with Gollum.
The cotton mouth.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it comes out perfectly. I'm gonna try. This is the Sticky Whiskers you said.
Sticky Whiskers.
And what's the percentage on this one?
That's I want to say a 6.3 or 6.5.
Oh, nice. That's good. I mean, it must be an easy drinker, because if anything, anything 6 and stuff like that is usually pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good. We're really happy with how that one came out. I was even happier that Danny was happy with how it came out.
It is, and this is the one that you used. You guys used that little, the metal thing.
Yeah, the Rakow Keef.
It does get you, but it's delicious. Because I like the danky stuff though.
Yeah.
Anything piney or danky, and but I also love, who doesn't love a crispy one. But no, that's really good.
Yeah, crispy boys are life.
Yeah, I feel like that's the brewer's beer.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that we talk about. It's so many customers want us to brew so many different things. They're like, oh, we want these different hazies, and we want, you'll have these people come in and be like, oh, we want this random style of beer.
Yeah.
Like when you have that one guy who comes in and is like, I want you guys to make a Groot beer, and we're like, all these different things. But it's at the end of the day, all of us, most of us, we just want a crisp lager, even.
For sure.
A good 4.5%, 5%, just crispy beer that's just good and refreshing.
Yeah, and crushable. You don't have to worry about, having 3 of them and being, shit-faced.
Who needs to get sloshed at, 11 o'clock in the morning after having one beer,
Exactly.
It's just give me something crispy and nice.
Yeah, and who drinks before 10 a.m. on a Sunday?
I mean, if you're playing disc golf with, shout out the LA Brewers Disc Golf League, might be as early as 8:30.
There you go. That's what I remember we talked about disc golf. I know it was really Star Wars focused, because I think we went, I don't know how long, just about Star Wars that first time. But I still have my stuff. So I've been telling my brother, let's go. And then, but he's busy, he's doing his thing.
But I still definitely want to go play disc golf.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I'm sure I'm going to be terrible, but it's all right.
I mean, if you're not terrible at some point, are you really playing disc golf?
Exactly.
I mean,
And I mean, if there's beer involved, what more do you need?
oh yeah, last weekend I was in Atlanta visiting one of my buddies, and we played
nice.
3 rounds of disc golf. And man, the courses in Georgia have so many trees.
Oh, really?
I was just hitting trees all weekend. Just like every time I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna get this shot. I'm gonna throw it so smooth. Clunk.
It just looks like a pinball, like a pinball game.
It's like, how did you hit that tree?
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, trees happen.
Oh, yeah. Trees happen, hops happen, everything happens.
Yeah. So Ahsoka.
Yep.
We hop into that one.
Yeah.
So, how did you feel about Ahsoka?
I thought it was better than Obi-Wan. I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it was great.
Mm-hmm.
There were certain things I didn't care about it. Like, I know that Sabine, obviously trained, like lightsaber trained and stuff like that with Kanan, or Caleb, whichever anybody prefers out there. But I was like, really? That was like to me that was like the Mary Poppins in frickin' which one did Leia die in? R.I.P.
Yeah.
Not the Last Jedi, was it?
No, not the Force Awakens.
Was it the Last
the
Jedi?
Last Jedi.
There
Yes,
you go.
the
Yeah.
Last Jedi. Yes.
When
was
she's
Super
like in
Saiyan
space and does her Mary Poppins thing where she goes flying through. I was like, and I love Leia. I mean, who doesn't? I am kind of glad in the third one, at least we got to see her actually, even if it was only for a minute. We got to see her lightsaber train with Luke, because that was like always like one thing I always wanted to see in live action. But it was a little, the whole Sabine thing kind of got me. Mm-hmm. But it was, I am not gonna lie, I might have got a little teary-eyed when I saw Ezra. And I don't know, I saw like so much Ezra hate online. I was like, then like, you guys love Rebels, but you hate Ezra? Like,
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
My only issue with Ezra was just that, like, I didn't think that the actor looked like him as much. Which, I mean, I get it. Originally he's an animated character.
Yeah.
I understand that it's hard to sometimes line up a hand-drawn person with a real person.
Yeah.
However, I will say this.
Yeah.
Sabine, they managed to cast as perfectly as you can cast somebody from an animated to a live action. The mannerisms, the stances, the way she spoke. Yeah. It was like she did a deep dive study on who the character was. Which is also why one of my biggest problems with the show was Hera. Who was, as we all know, was hired just because of her husband. Yeah. But I just thought everything about the mannerisms, the way she spoke, was completely wrong.
Oh, for sure. It was a big thing for me. Honestly, I feel like Chopper stole a couple episodes. Chopper was Chopper. He went out there and did his thing. Yeah. I do feel like some of the best episodes were the ones that were Filoni directed. Mm-hmm. Seeing the Night Sisters was pretty sweet. Live action.
Pretty sweet.
What did you think of Thrawn?
Okay, so I had mixed feelings on Thrawn. Yeah. The first thing about Thrawn is I think it took them way too long to bring him in. Yeah. Like, so much time wasted before he finally made it on screen. Yeah. Now, about Thrawn, I appreciated the fact that they used the voice actor to be the character. I love that. The second I heard the voice, I was like, I got shivers. I was so did I. Yes, this is incredible. I will say though, seeing him on screen, I was like, obviously he doesn't look like the way that they animated him. Like the animated was very square faced. And was it Hans Mikkelsen? Is like a little more round faced, and it also kind of looked like, his time in exile. Yeah, he got a dad bod. Yeah, good. Like, a little bit of a dad bod. Yeah, but I don't think it detracted from the character. He very much kept on Thrawn, as Thrawn is, who is like my favorite. Like I
Oh,
freaking love Thrawn.
Oh yeah, and maybe it was like 2 weeks before the show came out. I messaged you. I was like, "Hey, look what I found at Goodwill. I found Heir to the Empire."
Yeah.
And it was a great like copy. Like it wasn't like there was no writing in it. There was no. I was like, "What are the odds?"
Yeah, such a good book.
And it was $5.
Oh,
Yeah,
keep that.
yeah. Because I had the paperback. I never had a hardcover.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I was able to get a hardcover for $5. Yeah.
yeah. That's a great find.
Yeah.
A hardcover for $5.
Yeah.
Heir to the Empire.
Gotta love Goodwill books.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll say this about Ezra.
Yeah.
And this is me being me. Hashtag my Instagram handle.
There you go. Yeah.
One of the other things that I didn't like about the way they represented Ezra in the live action is that if you look at the names of Ezra and his family and his parents, he's clearly Jewish.
Yeah.
just very clearly Jewish. And the actor was clearly not.
Yeah.
The way they animated him, even, he looked pretty,
Yeah.
I can say this. He looked pretty Jewy.
Yeah.
But that was the other thing is I looked at, like, my wife and I, we were watching it. We were like, not convinced.
Yeah. I feel like they tried really hard to make his eyes super blue.
Oh, my God. I mean, so blue. Like,
Yeah.
the fakest contacts that you could find.
Yeah. And I was just like, really? Like, I mean, I know he had like really blue eyes in the thing, but it's like in Rebels, but I was just like, man, like you kind of like, it's like kind of the ones where like you don't want to steer too far into it. But yeah, they went hard left turn on that whole thing. So
Very hard. The character I was surprised that we didn't see was Zeb.
yeah, especially after the whole Mandalorian thing.
Mm-hmm. And especially when Zeb is literally sitting with the pilot.
Yeah.
And then the pilot was in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And Zeb wasn't.
Yeah, I was like, and Zeb looked phenomenal in that little scene. Dude, I was watching the show when that episode aired, but I had to turn around because I was checking my email or whatever, and then I heard the voice, and I just I was like, there's no way. I was like, and then, that big friggin' purple bastard was right there.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so cool. But I thought, like, yeah, you're right, though, because I felt the same way. I was like, how did you set that up in The Mandalorian and then not have that payoff?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're going to do, they kind of have to do a season 2, I feel like, of Ahsoka.
I think it was already approved and renewed.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm sure it was. But I was just like, man. And one thing I didn't get, because I know, like, Rosario was, like, got a ton of hate from, like, maybe not her, but, like, the way she portrayed the character in the first few episodes. Because she was just, like, down on her luck, and, like, they're like, oh, it's Luke again in The Last Jedi. I was like, but it's different. Like, if you, like, see Ahsoka's entire, everything she had to go through, it's almost like Obi-Wan's journey. Obi-Wan, eventually turned into, like, the way they made him look in Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where he had that whole kind of journey where he would, like, he lost the love of his life. His best friend turned on him. You had his master died. You had all this stuff that Obi-Wan had to endure. And then Ahsoka, the same thing. Like, she went through, like, some of her best friends turned on her.
Yeah.
And because of Order 66. And
they
stuff
could have
like
made
that.
a really, really awesome, emo rock album.
Oh, yeah.
Like, based off Obi-Wan's life.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they would. It would have been like that emo, like, at the beginning, of, like, Taking Back Sunday or, like, or something like that.
And then by the end, it's just like, it's like Evanescence.
Yeah, it's like a 3-arc story. So, like, you get one album for, like, when, what was the girl's name?
Satine?
Satine, yeah. I was gonna say, it's not Sabine. I was like, what is her name? I couldn't remember. But yeah, I felt like you could totally do a rock album from when she dies to when Anakin turns on him, and then him coming back, like his Blink-182 2023 album.
Yeah, and then Anakin's album is "Cut My Life into Pieces."
There you go. Yeah. Cut my arms in.
I will say that in terms of the Rosario Dawson, I was actually one of the people who was on the side of I did not like the way that she portrayed
Ahsoka. Yeah.
Just based off of watching Rebels, obviously, and then actually having now I can say I've actually gone through and watched all of the Clone Wars show.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Binged the whole thing. Even by the end of that show, she was not as stoic,
down on her luck and stuff like that. Yeah,
as much as she was in the beginning of Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Now, based off things that I've read and seen online,
yeah,
it seems that there was a very intense push to make the Ahsoka show very Kurosawa style.
Yeah.
Like this, like Seven Samurai sort of thing. The issue is that I don't think Ahsoka as a character fits into that style of movie.
Yeah.
Good old Snips doesn't, even when she's down, she gets depressed, but then she's still incredibly sarcastic.
Oh, for sure.
Whereas Rosario Dawson was just like this very stoic, very few-worded, arms crossed all the time, like how they would portray a samurai.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it meshes with the character as a whole.
Yeah.
And it felt a little forced and awkward until, they got halfway through the show and she started, talking more even.
Yeah.
So.
I loved, you know what I didn't get, how, was it, there was one, I don't know who said it now, during the show, but someone called her, someone said, Jedi Master. I was like, she's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think someone, and then, what's his name, calls her Lady Tano, and I just thought of Maul the entire time. Because Maul always called her Lady Tano.
Yeah, that was the robot. Hugh Yang?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But as soon as I heard him say Lady Tano, I was like, oh. I was like, why isn't she getting mad? Because I know she hated when Maul said it. But I mean, it's Maul. So.
Yeah.
Still, I love Maul.
Yeah.
So much.
He should come back again.
Yeah, might as well.
I think he's.
I think you could do a whole show about Maul. I mean, I know that obviously there's a ton of them in the Clone Wars and stuff like that, but you could do an animated show about him.
Yeah.
The stuff that Sam Witwer did with him in Rebels was awesome.
Fantastic acting.
Yeah. Just so good.
The emotion and feeling that you get behind the character, and you can feel the palpable strain within his mind to wrap his own brain around everything that's happened to him and what the internal conflict, not just the classic internal conflict of, dark and, I mean, there is no light with him, but dark and other dark.
Yeah.
But even machine versus human.
Yeah.
And the interaction of neurons with wires.
Yeah.
And just it was so palpable in his voice acting.
100%.
And it really made you feel emotion behind the character more than just he's evil.
Yeah.
There was such a deeper level.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I feel like Maul always we didn't get obviously a ton of him in the Phantom Menace. He said but at last we were to reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we were to have revenge, and that's it. That's all we really get from him when it comes to him talking. But what Whitwer did, even when you see him in the, because I like to watch the behind the scenes videos of when they're recording, and he's like, "God no, man!" He's throwing his arms and things that's so awesome. And he also Sam Witwer played Doomsday on Smallville.
So what I actually recently read the novelization of The Phantom Menace.
Okay.
And in the novelization, Maul had more lines than just that one. And you just hear him in Sam Witwer's voice.
Oh yeah.
And it's oh man, they should have done this.
Yeah. It's crazy, and every time, because people have told me, and I've never read the novelization of any of the movies except for the prequels. I've read those. But even any of the new movies I never read, but I've always heard that they're just so much better compared to, I mean, I don't know if you can get rid of a 30-minute casino scene, but you can still maybe just, go around that.
Condense it into half a chapter.
Exactly. A paragraph. We went to a casino, we found what we needed, we're gone.
Yeah.
There you go. 2.5 sentences.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I still kind of enjoyed the show. I was just kind of let down. I was because of how much, and you and I talked about it the first time around, how much we both loved Rebels, and because of what that show kind of did for us, like for me, it was you grew up with Ezra, like even what it was, 3 seasons or 4 seasons? 4?
I think it was 4.
Yeah.
4.
So like, I mean, that first season, like, and I tell my buddies, I'm like, just watch it. Like, if you want to watch something Star Wars, watch that show. It is kind of kiddie, the first season, but it grows up. It grows up fast.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly surprised that, like, I mean, there was nothing crazy happened in the show, but it wasn't like, I'm surprised that because the way the show grew up and Ezra becoming kind of teetering a little bit, like you would have thought that, Disney XD wouldn't have been on there.
Yeah, I mean, the first season, definitely kiddie. That's for sure. But after the second season, I remember I was watching it and my wife walked in the room and she was just like, "This is a show for kids?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No."
Not anymore.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But it also Clone Wars too. I would say the first. Well, I mean, so I'll say this. It's definitely like with all of these animated shows, it's always like the first season and a half always starts off very kiddie.
Yeah.
And it takes them a little while to get their
they find their footing.
And their footing. And then it's when Star Trek, because even if you think of like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah.
Like for me, the first season, I was like, this is a little bit rough.
Yeah.
I didn't love the first half of the first season.
Yeah.
But then you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like a common thing with animated shows.
Oh yeah.
That they struggle at the beginning, but then if they're well written, very quickly you're like, oh shit, this is incredible. I'm in it now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like even like with some, I feel like, well, maybe not a lot of TV shows, because I feel like you need that hook to get it. But I remember like the first time I watched like Peaky Blinders. I love Peaky Blinders. I watched the first like 2 episodes and I was just like, I don't know how I feel about that. But I was just at home folding clothes. I was like, I'll watch the 3rd episode. And that 3rd episode, bam. I was like hooked after that. I was like, all right. Then they got political later on. I was like, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. No.
But I mean, it was good. It was good where it was. I still need to finish season 6, I think. But I don't know.
There's that many seasons?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But the good thing is they're only like 10 episodes, so you can kind of get through it, but still not always. There's some stuff I'm like, oh, I could have skipped that whole season. Didn't even need to watch that.
Filler seasons.
But yes. But with Clone Wars too, I feel like that was kind of one where I was like, like, don't get me wrong. Like when I first started watching, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's like wartimey kind of thing. Like they're having like the person talk in the beginning and stuff like that. I was like, but then I was like, I would kind of fast forward a little bit, but still, I mean, some of the stuff that Dave Filoni did in that show, like with Obi-Wan, you got to see that other side of him with Satine that you never would have seen, elsewhere, unless to maybe Legends and Legend stuff, but or like you see that other side of Anakin, and then even like what George said later, he's like, oh yeah, when Anakin in Revenge of the Sith is looking at that thing, it's about Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man. And then when you go back and watch it, you're like, oh man, like. And if George wants to make another special edition and maybe throw like a clip of Ahsoka in there, I'm good. I'd be good with it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I feel like once he sold it, I think he's kind of.
Oh yeah,
he's out now.
It's like, here, come look at what we're doing. But that's about it.
I'm sadly skeptical about the future of Star Wars. I hate the fact that they announced another movie that's going to be continuing the Rey story.
Yeah,
it's like you finished the character. You finished this arc. Let's move on. After the original Tridge.
Yeah. I love that.
It became like, okay, this isn't about Luke anymore. And then they brought Luke back, and I didn't think there was really a need to bring Luke back. I understand they wanted to use him as like, oh, he's going to train Rey, and he's going to teach her stuff about the Jedi. But he really didn't teach her much of anything. Like
the
whole time
Yoda
it was on the
scolded
island.
him, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it seemed like pointless. But it was basically just to keep the Skywalker name alive. And then at the end,
Yeah.
she's like, "I'm Rey Skywalker." It's like,
Yeah.
no, you're Rey Palpatine. But whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I don't see what the added benefit of continuing to reuse the same characters over and over is,
Yeah.
instead of introducing a new set of characters for a new, because it'll probably be a trilogy, because they always come in threes.
Yeah.
They don't come in twos like the Sith,
Yeah.
but come in threes. But it's like, why?
Yeah.
Especially when you've straight up said you are done with the Skywalker story, even if Rey's going to call herself Skywalker.
Yeah.
You're done with that story. Why are we continuing on this character
Yeah.
further? Like, what benefit are you bringing to Star Wars? Introduce something else. You have
Yeah.
so many characters that are available, even if Disney wants to go ahead and just make brand new characters from scratch
Yeah.
that have never been seen before, never been written about
Yeah.
before. Like, why would you not do that?
Oh, 100%. I would like when they announced that Rogue Squadron movie. Like I don't know how was it like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I was like, Top Gun in space. Let's
Yeah.
fucking go. Like
Yeah.
let like give me. I mean, maybe not Wedge, but Wedge just might be dead at this point. But but still, like you could have had a movie like that, and you don't have to like you don't. There's so much stuff. Like I just told you earlier about. Han Solo crash landing on freaking thing, and Indiana Jones finding his bones, and him going after Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Like obviously that'd be like a a what if story, but I mean there's so much stuff you can do. There's so many different stories out there that you can tell. Like you can talk. I mean I wish that we could have seen for a split second Mara Jade or something like that. And but there's. I'm skeptical too. Like at first, after Force Awakens, I was like, "Oh, okay, Disney did all right." But I mean, it is like, it's always that first one that's like a carbon copy where they're blowing up something big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it's a Trade Federation, whether it's a Death Star, or whether it's a fucking planet. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what brings the people back is a
Yeah.
big explosion.
Yeah. Exactly. Boom.
Yeah. I don't know, but that's examples of, these are exact reasons why I think
Yeah.
the best show that they've put out was Andor.
Oh, I loved it.
And the fact that there was like barely anything related to the Force in there at all.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that it was all about, like military-based operation.
Yeah.
It showed the Empire for being the friggin' Nazis that they are.
Yeah.
And just like deep diving into the other side that's not Force-related
Yeah.
made it so much more interesting
Yeah.
than all the other shows that have come out.
Oh, for sure. It was like a serial kind of drama for me, and it was like that kind of like the suspense. It was a slow build, and but it kept building and building. And how fucking good was Andy Serkis?
Yeah. Yeah.
Guy
Love Andy
freaking
Serkis.
just oh man, from like his character development in those few episodes was like here, and then it was just like through the roof. He destroyed it, and you know what? What's his Diego Luna was great as Cassian. Obviously, he was good in Rogue One.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wish like I want him to meet freaking Alan. What's his Alan Tudyk's character in Rogue One. Gosh,
Who's Alan Tudyk in Rogue One?
he's the droid. The droid in Rogue One.
I think I only watched Rogue One once,
Oh really?
so I don't remember it so much. I remember I watched it and I like fell asleep.
Oh,
So I was like,
did you wake up when Vader? When Vader
so
was
that was
just
the last scene in the movie.
cutting
I
people in
think.
half.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this reimagined? Hell
Yeah, I love it. Vader, like, I will always love Vader, and I just like I love like, and I think we talked about it. Like, my favorite scene in all of Star Wars will always be when Luke hands not hands him. Oh no, but he hands him his lightsaber, or no, the stormtrooper hands him Luke's lightsaber, and then he's like, "There's good in you, I can feel it." And Vader just turns, and he's looking out on the forest moon of Endor,
Yeah.
and he's just like, he's wearing a fucking mask, but you can sense like that, like the what do you want to call it? The oh gosh,
Emotion?
yeah, the emotion, but also like the why can't I think today? It's probably because I had quite a bit of tequila yesterday.
That'll get you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was because I went to my cousin's Halloween party. I was Lieutenant Dangle.
Nice.
Yeah, Deputy Dangle. Oh my gosh, what's the like when you like not the mixed emotion? Why can't I think today?
Palpable
Yeah.
tension?
Like
Conflict?
the conflict. There we go.
Yes.
Like it's like why could I was gonna say comparison. I was like, what am I thinking right now? But yeah, you can sense that conflict within him, and you can see it on his face, even though he's wearing a freaking mask.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny when I look back, and I'm jumping around, sorry, but when I look back to like the original one where you can see like you can kind of see through his eyes or see through the eyes on his
lenses.
helmet. Yeah. But yeah, it was just like that'll always be my favorite scene, and it was just because if something's written well and you kind of like you don't need all the hoopla and whatever else. I just like that was to me like if I was going to show somebody like a scene of a Star Wars movie, that would be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I can feel that.
Yeah. I can feel your anger.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched Fanboys the other day too, so I was
Nice.
love that movie.
Yeah.
Everybody like when I try to show it to someone that's not a Star Wars fan, they're like, what is this? I'm like, yeah, you're not the target demographic for this movie.
Yeah. I think for me, the line that always will stick with me in Star Wars that I don't know, even though it may not be the greatest scene or whatever, but the thing that if I would make this a tattoo
Yeah.
is just do it.
Yeah. Do it.
For me, like I can feel that
Yeah.
that switch, that internal mind switch of just pure evil that
Yeah.
Palpatine has at that moment of just do it.
Yeah.
Is like, oh, gives me like shivers.
So good. And that would be like, I mean, a great what if story if they ever made that show. Disney, if you ever listen. Like,
If Jon Favreau,
Yeah.
I'm calling you up to
exactly. If Luke turned, like
Yeah.
just to be able to see what that would have been like, and then if Vader would have still done the realized that he needed to, or the light switch went off in Vader's head, like, all right, I fucked everything up over here, so I got to fix it.
I would love to see a what if of when in Attack of the Clone, I think it's Attack of the Clones, or was it Revenge of the Sith? When that scene happens, when he goes and says, do it, if Anakin had just turned around and just like threw his lightsaber at Palpatine and cut his head off or something.
Oh, that would have been sweet. I would love to see that.
Like, what would have changed then?
Yeah. That would have been really cool.
Yeah. I also saw recently on Instagram, someone posted a picture that was like a reimagining, and it was like no one could stand up against the power of what did it say? Lord it said Lord Anakin, Queen Padme, and their children. And I was just like, ooh, that would be a great what if.
Yeah.
What
if he would have killed off the Emperor?
If he killed the Emperor but still turned to the dark side
Yeah.
and Padme joined him.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of story would that have brought?
Oh, yeah. Damn. Yeah.
It's like dark Luke and Leia growing up with the Force as part of their upbringing.
Yeah.
Like, that would be a great what-if story.
Oh, that'd be freaking amazing. Now I'm like, just like cycling them through my head, like, what else could we do? Or what else could they make?
I could rattle off 1,000.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. What if, Darth Maul had beat Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
What if he didn't get sliced in half?
Yeah.
What if he got sliced in half but still managed to defeat Obi-Wan? Because we know that Darth Maul didn't die from getting cut in half.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
man. My brain feels like it's exploding because I'm trying to think. I'm thinking of like all the different things. I was like, oh, man. Like, I just want to, like, more than anything, I just want good content. I just want, because I was never like a prequel like supporter or anything like that, but I mean I feel like as I've gotten older, I've kind of appreciated them more.
Oh yeah.
Especially after The Last Jedi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But still, I'm like, oh man, like I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so much like when you look, I can still watch The Phantom Menace, and I can still watch Revenge of the Sith. Like going back to Ahsoka, the choreography, like the lightsaber choreography or whatever was. I was like, man, like come on. What would you think of Balin?
I thought he was cool, but I didn't think they fleshed him out enough before the actor died.
I know, and that's terrible.
I thought it was very disappointing because at the end of the show, he's standing on the statue of the father.
Yeah.
Which is like the introduction of a massive plot line that is now just going to completely disappear unless they recast him, which is going to feel very awkward.
I feel like you have to recast him, but I don't know who you get.
I don't know who you... I mean, it's going to feel so awkward with a different... I thought... I was hoping for a lot more information on Shin as well.
Oh yeah, I thought for sure she was gonna have some big things, but I feel like she still can. I feel like she's gonna start her own Knights of Ren kind of thing because of those guys.
Yeah, she seemed super cool. I did love the fact that somebody pointed this out on Instagram.
Yeah,
they were like, "This is like Shin is the example of what of what happens when you have someone who is neurodivergent who learns the Force."
Yeah,
because if you watch Shin throughout the show, she has a really hard time paying attention.
Oh yeah.
To things. She's always like Balin will be like talking to her and she's like looking around. Like then you just like see her like looking around. It's very typical like neurodivergent stuff. Like you can't focus when someone's talking to you. You're always like paying attention. Like it's I know it's not exactly the same. I'm not gonna stand here and be like it's the same thing. But it's like when someone has like ADHD and like they can't pay attention to one thing at any time and they're always looking around. So it's like someone pointed that out and I was like, you know what? A lot of times I don't like it when shows try to bring in every sort of, modern time, like I guess you could call it, I mean it's not an issue. Like it's not an issue, but like thing that people talk about of the common time across all different things. But like this one, I was like, you really nailed that on the head. And I think it was actually very, very well done. Yeah. Having like a neurodivergent character. Yeah. And it wasn't weird or awkward at all. I thought it fit perfectly.
No, it was great.
And I was like, this is actually really, really cool. And I would love to see more of her and like, how the hell did she and Balin like wind up together? Yeah. How did this happen? And especially when Balin's like acting like I am like he seems to be trying to make it clear that he's not a Sith.
Oh yeah. He's that gray area,
Yeah, he uses the dark side powers to accomplish his mission, but he's not seeking ultimate power. Yeah. He seems to be searching for something. Yeah. Which is why he's seeking out the tower of the statue of the father.
Oh, for sure.
Why we don't know why he trained Shin to be his apprentice. Why he needed an apprentice? Yeah. What was the point? Especially because once they made it to the name of the planet, Perea. Yeah. Where, he was basically just like, all right, we're done. Bye. Yeah. Figure it out there for yourself now. Yeah. Like, and it's like she clearly hasn't finished her training. She has a lot of her own conflict within her. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily the same classic conflict of good and dark, but she has something going on inside her that is struggling. Yeah. But they just left us with so many more questions than they answered, which I think is one of the reasons why I had problems with the show. Like you set up too many questions in order to create a second season for yourself, and you didn't bring us enough content that was relevant now. And you stretched these episodes out so far. Yeah, and like
even the runtime sometimes I feel like they were like 30 minutes.
Make it an hour.
And I'm like why can't you do like if you're gonna do 6 episodes, make each episode an hour because you could flesh it out. You can bring in other characters. You can have time for guys like Zeb and stuff like that. Like when 3PO showed up, I can lie. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. 3PO's there. But 3PO's in everything, so.
Yeah. I thought, I didn't, I thought it was pointless that he was there.
Yeah.
I didn't think it added anything to the story.
Yeah.
It was literally a
cameo.
like a screen grab cameo. It was
Yeah.
like, oh look, we have C-3PO.
Yeah,
because we're
he's
Disney.
still around. But I feel like Filoni will always and I love Filoni, but he'll always bring in like 3PO or R2 or any of that stuff. But I just like there's so much out there, especially like in Rebels kind of lore, but that you can kind of pull from, and like honestly, the Purrgil looked
It was so awesome.
yeah, and they rode in on one of them, like they parked the freaking Ghost.
Yeah.
In oh no, not the Ghost.
Whatever.
The Ahsoka's ship.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't remember what the name of her ship is, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the name of her ship
They
is
pulled
either.
like a Pinocchio sort of thing.
Yeah, and that was freaking cool, man. I was like, oh man, the Purrgil look amazing. It was like everything seems like it's gonna be really good, and then, like I said, like there's just certain things. Like there's certain things I loved about it. There's certain things I actually really like Jason. Like it was cool seeing Jason Syndulla, because we get like one scene of him in Rebels, of course, because it's at the end.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how long pregnancies last, but
Seems pretty quick.
yeah, it seemed like that happened real fast.
Yeah. I also thought it was interesting because this is the first time we've seen a human.
Like a
human
mixed
Twi'lek
with
crossbreed
Yeah.
that just looks like a human.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. I was surprised
Yeah.
they didn't have even just one head tail or something.
yeah,
I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure why they decided to do it like that. I mean, Rebels, they showed this. Yeah. I thought that was interesting.
yeah.
But,
So did I.
I don't know how I feel about it,
Yeah.
but
I mean, because even like in Rebels at the end, I think he puts his feet up. Does he put his feet up on the on the
trying to
dash?
remember,
I think.
yeah.
I know it's that very last scene when Sabine is talking, but I did love the mural. Like when I saw the mural, I was like, all right. I'm like, why are you trying to make me cry, Filoni?
yeah.
But
I don't know. Was Jason even in the end of Rebels, or was it just
Yeah.
showing her that they said like, "Oh, you're pregnant"?
no, he was in the very like one of the last scenes. Like
Okay.
yeah,
I
and
just,
he's green.
Recently rewatched
obviously.
it. For some reason, I don't remember that.
Yeah. So I guess being green and then having human hair is good enough. I guess. Either
Hair
way.
color is determined by
Yeah.
the color of your mother's skin.
Exactly.
That's how DNA works.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. What do they always say? Like if is it they say you get your hair genes from your mom's side, which thank God, because if I got it from my dad's side, I'd be bald right now. I'm just
me
kidding,
too.
Pop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know we've already been going for an hour. I don't know if you have anything to do.
I have not even noticed the time. I
Okay.
just love talking about
Oh
this.
yeah, same. So I don't want to keep you too long, but
Yeah. I mean, we can keep talking. We can talk about beer now if you want.
oh yeah, no, for sure. But before we
But-
do, I just wanted to talk about Star Wars just a hair longer.
Oh, absolutely.
What I didn't. Oh, now I lost my train of thought. It was there and then it's gone. In one ear, it's like the Mad TV thing, where they have fly going in and then coming out. Should we grab one more beer?
Oh, yeah,
for it?
yeah, let's grab
And I'm
some
sure
more
I'll remember.
Yeah.
And we'll be back in a sec. And we're back. And I still don't remember what I was going to tell Nadav. But I have a black IPA sitting in front of me. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, man.
Here we go. Son of a bitch did it again. Yeah.
This is a good one. The best advice that I got for brewing this beer was somebody said to me, they said, don't try to make a black IPA.
Yeah.
They said, make an IPA that
Yeah.
happens to be black.
And you kind of like the pool sharks. You were like, oh, I'm not. This is it's just okay. And then I try it, and I'm like, come on.
I mean, I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not the best black IPA.
Oh, I mean,
but
I love it though.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No,
I'll just take it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
What I'm kind of, because we talked a little bit earlier how like the the show has changed. I feel like from when I started, where I was like, I still felt like I was like trying to figure out I wanted the show to be, to now. And when it comes to like beers like this, and when I get to try something like this and get to hang out with you, and it makes me so happy. And I feel like it's helped. Like, you know, this is therapy for me, so I get to sit here with you, and I'm rambling. But
Hey, that's all good, man.
Yeah, no, it just means a lot to me. Like it does. It means like being able to have something like this, or have, you know, the other two beers that you had, and, you know, and being able to. I felt like after that first episode with you, I think that was episode 4, I think, of the show. This will be episode, like, I think 40, I think, because today's episode I'm releasing is going to be, won't be today when people are listening, but it's going to be the Humble Sea.
Ooh,
yeah. Nick was a really nice guy.
Those are good guys.
Oh yeah, really great guys. Even like I had a packed week a couple weeks ago. It was Nick, then it was Daniel from Beer Paper, and then it was a barbecuer who does like pop-ups at breweries, which always like fascinates me too. It's like, it's always cool, like when you find like those places, like you find those like hidden kind of gems, or like, man, like, why don't you have a restaurant, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah,
but it's freaking
restaurants
cool.
need too many permits.
Oh yeah. I'm sure Long Beach is to have Long Beach kind of stuff, but I mean, your guys' pizza is, that sourdough crust. I just don't. My mind was blown when I first tried. I was like, holy, I can eat a whole pie. Like, you know, I don't suggest eating a whole pie. Like, if you want to do it, you know, you're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. But I mean, for artery wise, maybe don't eat a full pie every time.
I mean, this is like literally what I said last night to Levy and Harmony. I was like, you guys have ruined pizza for me.
Yeah.
Like, I can't eat pizza anywhere else at this point. Because, like, every other pizza that I eat, I compare to the pizza here. And I'm like, it's just not the same. And this is like, that crust is so good that I'm like, how am I ever going to eat pizza again? How am I going to eat pizza in the Middle East? Yeah. Like,
you got to build a brick oven or something like that.
I'm sticking to beer.
There you go. So speaking on that, like, when do you already have a building set, or do you have, like, do you need to break ground on whatever's going on?
So
with the
right
brewery?
now what's happening is I was hired by a brewery called Beer Bazaar.
Okay.
It's an established brewery in Israel, and they just moved into a brand new production facility.
Awesome.
Which Levy actually went and saw when he was there like 2 months ago. Not even a month ago.
That's cool.
He was there when everything started.
Yeah.
And he saw the facility and he was like, "This place is great." He was like, He's like, "This is a lot of space. There's a lot of good equipment here. There's good people working here." So yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm very excited to get in there and start digging my hands into things, and just, you know, working towards making more
I want
beer.
you to send me whatever your first beer is, but I don't know if it's going to make it through customs. But
probably not.
Yeah, they're going to be like, what is this?
I'm going to have to do the old, I got to find a guy flying to LA.
Oh, perfect.
And then he'll bring it.
There it is.
That's how I send beer to, like, my parents in Israel, like to my dad.
Yeah.
I find someone flying to Israel, and then I give them beer, and then they pass it off.
There you go. This is yours.
The courier service.
Just leaving a bag and baggage claim.
I think there's some FAA rules about that.
No, I'm just joking.
Could be wrong.
Do you already have what I was curious about is, do you have a plan already for, like, what your first beer, like the first beer you brew there, what do you want it to be?
I don't have a plan for that.
Okay.
My plan that I've spoken about with one of the owners there, who I've, you know, the one who I've made my work agreement with, is as it is right now, I'm supposed to become the director of brewing operations.
Okay.
So my main focus is not going to be digging my hands into the recipes and changing everything like that.
Okay.
My biggest responsibility to start off the bat is just going to be process improvement and management.
Okay.
So the way that they make their beer, the processes that they go through of conditioning their beer, packaging, trying to make sure that the dissolved oxygen in the packaged product is as low as it can possibly be. That is my foremost thing.
Yeah.
Is just making sure the processes are following the best possible practices so that whatever recipe they're brewing will come out tasting the best way that it possibly can.
Okay.
I'm not looking to go into this brewery and be like, your stuff is trash, you're going to do everything my way.
Oh,
I'm
like
not
Untapped?
that type of person.
Yeah.
I'm not that type of person.
Yeah,
I
of
want
course
to go
not.
in and because my big thing is like, I mean, as we've spoken about before and as people who know me know, my biggest pursuit is just making the best beer possible. So I am not the greatest brewer in the world. I know that. I just try to do with whatever I can with the tools that I've been given and the things that I've learned. So I just want to dig my hands into the processes, make sure that whatever is being brewed comes out as clean as it possibly can.
Yeah.
So making sure that yeast is getting separated from beer, that there's not a bunch of hops and stuff like physical particulate left in the finished product.
Yeah.
That's my first and main goal.
Of course.
Just to get the processes really in order, make sure that everything's being cleaned to the highest possible standard.
Of course.
So obviously at this point, I don't currently know exactly what their processes are. They haven't like sent me SOPs or anything. But that's really what I want to start off with. I already know that they have a team of fantastic people there. Very hard workers with very good credentials. Their head brewer went through the master brewer program.
Awesome.
In Germany. So I know that he knows his shit. Like, you know, like
it's like you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, like, you know, they're not like a new brewery. They've been around for a while. They understand how to brew beer.
Yeah.
So I just want to get in there and just see what the processes are, bring some of this stuff that I've learned here to the table and just bring some new stuff to the Middle East, to Israel.
Course. Yeah. That's awesome, man. I'm super excited for you. Like, not gonna lie, a little sad though that you're leaving because I mean, like, you know, we could, you know, but we can still have conversations, of course. I mean, it's just a time difference.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just 10 hours.
Yeah,
it's 10 hours.
Big deal. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah. And if we have to do something on Riverside, because sometimes when I do remote shows, I record them on Riverside. If I have to be up at the crack of dawn, I'll do it. So
you won't even have to because it's 10 hours. So you're getting up. And I'm just packing in for the evening.
There it is. So, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
That's how I call my dad every Friday. I get up, I call him at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's 5 o'clock p.m. for him.
Oh, that's perfect.
So it's like,
there it is.
I'm just getting up for the day and he's just winding down.
And then I have an excuse to drink a beer at 7 a.m.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. No one's gonna judge you,
Exactly.
except for yourself.
Yeah. You know, what's the worst that can happen? I mean, liver will be fine.
Yeah.
Right?
No, everything will be fine.
Oh yeah.
I'm not too worried.
Oh no, you're
a little nervous, but you know.
No, things are gonna be great though. I mean, honestly, man, I'm happy for you, and I've bragged about you so many times on the show.
Oh, thank you.
To people, like talking about like how you're, you know, uprooting, your life. Like you're going from here to go back home, and being willing to take that risk. Not many people would do that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're here. And, you know, you're not set in your ways, because I don't mean it in that way, but I mean, you have like your life here, you have like, you know, your job here and something that you love to do. Mm-hmm. And of course, you're going to be doing something you love to do over there, but still, like, that's a huge, like, you know, life decision. Mm-hmm. And being willing to take that risk. You know, they always say like fortune favors the bold. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, I applaud you, brother. Like good for you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say a few different things. One, I'll say that in terms of here, I am obviously incredibly sad. It's very bittersweet.
Of course.
to leave here. You know, the tutelage that Levi has given me here, and the utter brilliant knowledge of biology and chemistry that he's taught me here, and the things that I've learned and grown with here is invaluable.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of the team that we've built here and the guys that are working their butts off to keep this place going, and the fact that they've been so willing to be sponges of just the crazy ideas that Levi and I have cooked up here in the lab, and that they've just sponged it all up, and they're able to continue recreating that without me having to sit on a brew deck and you know, point to things and be like, this, you know. I'm so appreciative of the guys that I have working here. And the other side of it is I'm very appreciative to my wife, who is so gung-ho just like I am to move back to Israel.
Yeah.
And, you know, even with everything going on, just like ready to just be like, we're going back home.
Yeah.
This is where we belong. And we're just gonna, you know, we're gonna do it all again.
Yeah.
You know, this is, you know, it's like it's a really interesting, like,
or not
issue. It's a really like amazing testament also to like my wife, because like, you know, we moved together from Israel to America, and then we're moving back from America back to Israel.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, cool. And like you said, like it's a testament to your wife, a testament to you for, like, you know, like you said, some people, you put that thing in front of them and they're like, nope.
Yeah.
But you're willing to grab that thing and run with it, or grab the ball and run with it. I was going to quote Little Giants. I was going to quote, because you said you're like, I'm not the best brewer, and I was going to quote, Remember the Titans, say you're Hall of Fame in my book, but, you know.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I will 100% sit here and tell you that I am thankful for the people around me who have taught me so many invaluable things. Like, the time that I've spent here in LA has been so invaluable. Like, I have met like what I would consider to be such amazing minds, both within and not necessarily within beer specifically. Yeah. But just the things that I've been able to learn from people, and that have taught me things that I've been able to grow within the beer industry. Yeah. Like, I could shout out to so many people,
of course,
here, like, that have taught me things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I am today without all of these different people.
Yeah.
Just, you know, and that's one of the things that I will say is that LA Brewers Disc Golf Group. Yeah. Just talking with these guys, I have learned so many things.
That's awesome.
They've helped me grow as a brewer. And I appreciate every single one of them. Yeah. All the homies. And
that's awesome, brother.
It's been an amazing journey here in LA. It's been a weird journey, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like in the world nowadays, there's always something. There's always something going on, whether it's a pandemic or a recession all types of things. And if you can find your way through that, like you said, it's weird, but we find our way through it and come out better on the other side. Yeah. And with everything that you've learned and that we talked about with, like, you know, with everybody here, with, like, you know, it being a family, and it's just like, I'm sure they're gonna miss the hell out of you, but I'm sure they are gonna be so damn proud of what you're doing over there.
Yeah. 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 I mean, my, you know, to use the Hebrew term, my mishpacha here is, we're a tight-knit group, and I'm just hella proud.
Yeah, man. And you should be
here,
because you put out quality product after quality product. Everything I've had from you guys has been top notch.
Thank you. Yeah, we do our best. Yeah. That's all anyone can ask for.
Exactly. But you're not, like you said earlier, like, you're not content though. Like, no. It's never a perfect product, or it's never a finished product is what I should say. But you keep on growing, you keep on trying different things. Like, it's really good. I understand you think it's really good, but I kind of want to see what happens if I take it over there, if I take it over here, take it over there, this way or that way. And I applaud that. Like, that's why, like, I feel like anytime I talk to a brewer, And and you know what I forgot to mention? You're the first ever returning guest.
Oh, look at me.
Yeah.
I made the cut.
Yeah. 2 times. But yeah,
Do I get a special stripe for that?
Yeah. But I love that that mentality that brewers have, because they want it to be perfect, but it's never going to be perfect to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I feel like I feel the same way about the show. I will always try to make it better. I will always try to do different things, but I'm always still going to always be me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to change who I am for anybody. But I really want to, just thank you again, and thank you to Long Beach Beer Lab, and come try the sourdough pizza. And if you don't, then you're missing out. But I really want to come down and see you, but again, before you leave. But I wanted to come down and do this before you leave. But I want to see you again before you leave. In December, we'll watch The Big Lebowski, and I have a special present for you.
Ooh,
yeah.
excited.
Not going to say it's Star Wars related. It might be Star Wars related, but I mean, it's a going away present. So, and I'm super appreciative of you. So it's no, I don't want to give it away. So I won't give it away. I won't give away what it is.
I like surprises.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. But should we're about an hour and 20. And any other Star Wars stuff you'd like to talk about?
Let's see. What other Star Wars stuff? Oh man, I feel like we really touched the surface on all the new stuff.
Yeah. Are you excited about like Skeleton Crew or any of those?
I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. Oh, that is one thing I will say.
Okay.
I'm very excited to see what they do with the Acolyte.
Yeah.
Because what they originally announced has changed from what they've now said it's going to be.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see what they do, and I really hope it's really all new original things, and they do it.
I hope so too.
Like, just stay true to Star Wars, because I don't know if you remember like all the things originally announced. They were like, it's going to be a Sith apprentice. It's going to be what they is. And now they're saying it's a story about a Jedi apprentice who faces the dark side and has to come to terms with what they're facing. And I'm like, okay, but I just want to see some new shit, and I want to see them go back to the original roots of it being like a Western. Yeah, very cutthroat in the West style with lightsabers. Yeah, but so I'm going to watch this with much interest.
Yeah. You can't see it, but he did the Palpatine fingers. What I love, I remember now. Oh Lord, now it came to me.
Yes.
It was the Dooku. I mean, I think we talked about it. The Tales of the Jedi.
We talked about that in the last one.
With Dooku, and I was just like, man, like I wish that they would do like a Maul one when he was young, or like, and I know I mentioned Maul earlier, but I bet there's so much stuff you can do there.
So there is a book.
There's the Book of Tales of the Jedi?
No. Oh. Not a Book of Tales of the Jedi, but there is a book that does touch more about. It wasn't directly a. So there's actually 2 books, I guess. So one of the books talks about multiple times about different times during Maul's youth in training under Palpatine and the harsh environment that he put him in. Yeah. And then there's another book which is just all Maul. And it's called Maul.
Maleficent.
That'd be a great book. Yeah. It was called Maul something, and he's on this ship that is a prison. Oh. I think I mentioned this actually in the last one.
Yeah.
And it's all about Maul going through this prison, and you just like you learn he talks about things that he went through growing up, because basically the story is like with not the story of the actually what happened was in the books it said that Maul's mother protected him from being like sacrificed in a ritual or something, and she found Palpatine and said, "Take my child," and then he took him, but instead of like taking him to a planet to be brought up as like a normal member of society, he was like ooh, I can use this as,
Yeah.
an apprentice
Yeah.
who is literally an infant.
Yeah.
So he puts him in this nonstop harsh environment of training for his entire life.
Yeah.
Where his whole life is fighting against practice droids and learning every single in and out of every single different method and style of fighting.
Yeah.
Hand-to-hand combat, lightsaber combat, how to fight against weaponry and lasers and stuff. And it's like really fascinating that because in the book he like mentions times about like I was in this or he has flashbacks in his memory of like when I was fighting against this robot and I was doing this, and it's like, damn, like.
Yeah, and it's crazy about that was like when going to Rebels when like Obi-Wan changed his stance. Like I know we talked about it before, but it's still so crazy to me. Like he saw like he knew Maul's like it kind of like Maul would like you said study those kind of things and like like oh Qui-Gon did this so I know how to kill him. Mm-hmm. So Obi-Wan did that to bait him, and it was like stuff like that. But I loved like that last like. Sure, the lightsaber fight could have went a little longer, but I get why they did it, so quickly. But it was how cool was it that, like Maul kind of had his thing. He's like, is he the chosen one, kind of thing. But I also love in the last season of the Clone Wars when he's telling Ahsoka, it's like I tried to lure him here, not you. Like I wanted to kill him because I wanted to take away his prized pupil.
Yeah,
and I'm like. Oh man, that just it fucking like, man,
it was awesome.
When you were a kid, let me ask you this: when you were a kid, did you ever like watch it and be like, maybe if I watched it again, it'll be different?
I had a lot of shows, not specifically things like the Clone Wars, but I had a lot of shows that I thought like, I wonder if I'll view this differently when I'm an adult.
Yeah,
and there have been a lot of different shows that I've watched. For example, like my favorite show of all time. Is that 70s show.
Oh, banger, yeah.
Like, that is my go-to. I'm sick. I need something to watch.
Yeah.
That's what I'll go to. But I'll definitely say watching it now through the lens of an adult versus when I was younger, I'm like, there's some fucked up stuff on this show. Like, a little like, some of these things are not okay.
Oh, for sure. For me, that's Boy Meets World. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Do you like Boy Meets World?
My wife and I rewatch that like once a year.
Oh Lord.
And there's so many times that we're just like, that's not okay.
No, I'm not trying to quote Step Brothers, but like, I mean, I think we just became best friends again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, like there are so many like some of the undertones in the show, like you said, they're not like that's not okay. And they talk about racism in that show. They talk about getting drunk, peeing on a cop car, like all this stuff. Like whether it's like and even when he calls, I think he calls Sean a wop at one point, and it's like, dude, like you've been willing to get into stuff like that on a TGI Friday show.
Yeah.
On that was like to me like, but as a kid you don't realize it. Like
of course
you're like
not.
But then as you get older and like I remember they would re-air them on Disney, I think it was Disney Channel, and like you kind of watch those again and you're like, whoa, like it was ahead of its time.
It's very intense on a lot of the different plots that they talked about in there.
Yeah,
but also like. So this is something that my wife and I always talk about when we watch the show, is about how everybody is, like, the show is designed so that everybody loves Corey and thinks that, oh, poor Corey, these different things. But it's like, once Corey stops being the little kid and he gets a little bit older, he's pretty much an asshole.
Kind of,
for, like, most of the show.
Yeah.
And things that he does and says are, like, really not okay. Like really bad. But the show's set up in a way that it's supposed to be like, oh,
and it's supposed to be
poor
funny.
Corey Matthews. He didn't get his way on things. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
He's being a dick.
Yeah.
Like this is exactly the response that he should be getting.
Yeah. And you feel like even like with like I feel like Eric in that show, I don't know. Like later on, I feel like Eric kind of carried the show a little bit. I love Sean. Obviously, who doesn't love like Sean and Topanga and Corey and stuff like that? But like one thing, I felt like the heart of the show was kind of like Amy and Alan in a way. Like they're how they, you know, no matter what, they were like whether they did good, whether they did bad, they were still always behind them. They were still behind their kids, but still they're like, you can't be doing that. You got to be better. And like I feel like, not trying to get like, you know, whatever about today's youth, but still like I feel like there's not enough kids out there that are getting like, you know, that kind of. It's like, oh, here's a screen to look at.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I mean, watching that show multiple times, I definitely say that.
Yeah.
Alan and Amy were very much like, they were really good parents on the show. You know, they called their kids out when they did stupid things. And they were the prime example of parents who did the best they could.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, they didn't necessarily have the means for everything.
Yeah. Alan was a grocer. Amy was a real estate agent for maybe like half a season.
Yeah. How they afforded that house, I don't know. But like, you know, they did the best they could.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will say though that, because like my wife and I talk about this show a lot.
Yeah.
Is that, so we're on opposite fences on this part, is that I hate how they changed Eric's character.
Yeah.
Because Eric at the beginning of the show wasn't a moron.
Yeah. But they made him a doofus. Yeah.
Exactly. He was like, he started off being like a lazy high school kid.
Yeah.
Who just like wanted girls.
But when he tried, he actually did well.
Exactly. Yeah. But then they just steered really hardcore into, he's a moron.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't remember the episode with the Lucky Penny.
Oh, yeah.
Where he gets shocked by lightning at one point, you know? Like that whole thing. And, but like, my wife, she's like, oh no, I love that. I thought that was hilarious. And the actor actually loved it too.
Yeah, Will Friedle.
Will Friedle, he was like, I thought that was an amazing choice.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've ever listened to the.
Oh, I love the show. I do. I listen to it all the time.
So I haven't listened to all of that. Because my wife listened to it. I listened to it in the car when we're driving somewhere. And she puts it on. And it's like so interesting. Even them, they're like, this show had so many screwed up things in it.
Oh, yeah.
That like are like really just not okay.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, like they're like even like I want to say it was like when they're talking about like season 1 and they're like Topanga talks about how so Danielle Fishel, I should probably use the real name.
Yeah.
But Danielle Fishel talks about how they told him like if you because they didn't want her as Topanga. They're like if you mess up this take, you're gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, man, she's a kid.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like how are you gonna treat a freaking kid that way? But yeah, no, that show will always like carry so much weight, and because I felt like I learned a lot of like what do's and don'ts from Feeney.
Yeah,
growing up as a kid, and I was just like, man, like even now, like it holds up. Like it still holds up now, and you see like those kind of like you said those kind of things or lessons like you know you can learn even today. And like, it's crazy, like being a show like that came out in like 1993.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still like, you know, it was ahead of its time for sure. And I like how Disney Channel like they would never air the Sean and Corey getting drunk episode. Classic episode though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't fit the.
Yeah, Corey's popping a Mentos in the thing. It's like, get out of here, man.
Yeah, that doesn't fit the Disney.
Yeah.
Screen crawl.
What's your favorite episode? If you, I know there's like 200. No, not 200.
I will
over
tell you.
episodes.
I know what my favorite episode.
Okay,
is.
what's your favorite episode?
100%. It's the one with Desiree, the Georgia Peach. You remember that one? Where they had this student from the South who Eric like falls in love with.
Oh yeah,
and she's
yeah.
like, who's your Georgia Peach?
Yeah.
Because I grew up in Georgia, so like for me, I'm like, oh, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great episode.
Oh, that one's hilarious. One of my favorite episode is the cabin episode.
Oh, that's such
Lauren.
a good one.
Yeah, with Lauren. And I always felt like, you know.
Oh, that cabin episode. I thought you were talking about Feeney's cabin.
Oh, that's a great episode too. When he loses the watch.
Yes.
In the what is it? In the septic
in the sink.
tank. Yeah, it goes down
Sean
the thing. Yeah.
goes septic tank diving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. No, but it was the Lauren episode.
That was a good one,
because it
too.
made me always feel like, you know, like that maybe like you can have like a friend that's a girl. Obviously, Lauren wanted more, clearly.
Very clearly, yeah.
But you know, you can have that kind of, if you can find a friendship, you know, that kind of gets through it. But I love like, you lied to Japan when Sean says that. But one of my favorite scenes is when Eric is playing Romeo in Romeo and Juliet, and he goes, "Prepare to die, Jedi Master."
Oh my god.
Such a classic episode. I love
is the best.
what does he say when and he takes he's all, just take your little booties here, and the guy, because he built the balcony and it broke.
Yeah.
He's all, just take these green little booties here. He's like, I can play. He's like, I can play Lady Capulet. I can play Hamlet. I can do whatever, or Romeo, or whatever. He's like, I can also play Cartman. He's like, I'm not fat. I'm pleasantly plump.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good show. There's a lot to it.
Yeah. You know, I also love the Disney World episode.
Oh, I like vaguely remember that
Yeah,
one.
that's
Oh, with the dolphins.
Yeah.
Right?
And Sean,
Yeah.
like Sean and them, like they wake up, they sleep on Splash Mountain.
Right.
And then Sean's just like, hey, so do you think they sell these in the gift shop? He's the best sleep I ever had.
Oh man, they had so many like crazy things in that show. I really, yeah. Mr. Feeney was definitely a very intense level of, I don't even know the words to put this in. It's like it's so much. I don't even know how to say this. It's like he instilled so many incredible life lessons.
Oh, for sure.
And taught so many things about just being a decent human being.
Exactly.
And I think that's just, those sort of concepts are just so lost in nowadays television.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't know. I'm very like
I'm with you, man.
fearful for, what are we on, Gen Alpha now? I think they're called. I'm very
Didn't you
fearful
know that
for
was a
how
thing?
the I don't know. And then my sister-in-law was like, just think about the next one. They're going to be called Gen Beta. That's not a great name.
Yeah, no. You're secondary to the alpha. Yeah.
But like I do get, I mean I don't obviously watch kids TV, but snippets that I've seen being at friends' houses who have kids and stuff, I just don't see things about life lessons and just decency
It's all
being
about
portrayed.
just like laughing and distraction.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit fearful, but what am I gonna do?
Yeah. Hey, the only thing we can do is maybe show them Ninja Turtles from back in the 90s or 80s, I mean.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can show them like Hey Arnold or,
Hey Arnold, Arthur.
Yeah.
Man, I could say have
Arthur's
a slice
a
of
banger.
pizza.
Yeah.
Like,
There was so many, like growing up, there was like so many shows, like even like shows like Family Matters.
mm-hmm.
Like I remember watching Family Matters, and when Eddie got drunk at a frat party and he wasn't 21, and Carl's like, "Oh, you think that's cool?" He's like, "You're not 21 yet." Blah blah blah. And then Carl gives him the whole spiel. I was like, "Man, like that dad cares."
Yeah.
But it made you feel like that. Like it made you feel like, yo, man, and if somebody, well, I mean, hopefully everybody out there, and no, not everybody does, but hopefully somebody has a dad out there that really does care about, their kids. And
Or an uncle.
yeah,
Somebody.
or somebody, yeah. I mean, I don't know how this turned into an after-school special right now.
Wow,
but-
yeah, we got really deep here. Because now
We
all
totally
I'm thinking about is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, yeah. Well, Uncle Phil, when his dad fucking bails on him, what a douche.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Uncle Phil, he's just like, why don't he want me? Like, motherfucker, man.
Yeah. So you really pull at the heartstrings there.
I know. Should we have one more beer?
We can have one.
Yeah,
I would
I think we're
absolutely
gonna-
have another
we're
beer.
gonna
I mean,
be-
we got really deep on that. I think I
Yeah, we
needed
totally
something
did.
to
We're probably
pull
gonna
the
come
edge
back.
off.
It might get a little deeper. Who knows? All right, we'll be back. And we're back.
Mm-hmm.
May have only felt like a second for you guys. Yeah, it was like 5 minutes. Yeah, but when we were talking off air, when I'm talking to Nadav, I want to before I get into the question I'm going to ask you, I want to make like a Star Wars type reel for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I was trying to think of like what could I use? I want to do like I wouldn't want to say the Nadav Returns, but like, you know, no, like Nadav Returns or something like that. I'll figure it out. There's something in there. Like the wheels are turning, but
Yeah,
something.
let's not make it a revenge-y thing. Though.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
no.
that type of person.
Yeah, not at all. But we talked about a little bit about Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I'm a huge Zelda fan. So I want to ask, what is your favorite game, Zelda game, and what is your favorite temple? The temple could be from a different game, but
Ooh, that's a great question. So
Yeah.
my favorite Zelda game is actually Majora's Mask.
banger.
I like that game, and I know a lot of people actually hated it because of the constant anxiety of, of the moon.
Yeah.
But I actually kind of liked that, and
Yeah.
I kind of think that that's what gave me a lot of my time anxiety that I have today.
Yeah.
But I really did like that game a lot. It was the first game where Link became very acrobatic. And I liked the plethora of different abilities from different masks.
Yeah.
Which I really liked. And it introduced me to my favorite form of Link, which is the Fierce Deity Link.
Oh, there you go.
Freaking love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Freaking lasers out the sword when you have full hearts.
Yeah.
Epic.
Yeah.
Favorite temple is that's a very difficult question
Yeah.
to answer because the temples have changed
Oh, for sure.
so much.
Yeah.
Coming from, the earliest one I played was Link's Awakening.
Oh, yeah.
All
For
the way
Game Boy?
now.
Yeah.
All the way now to Tears of the Kingdom,
Yeah.
which I sunk like 200 hours into. Like there was barely anything left for me to do by the time I was done.
Yeah.
And that the fact that they've changed so much how they are, that's a very hard question to answer.
Oh, for
and
sure.
I don't know if I have an answer actually for
That's
that.
okay.
I think thinking on the temple that I think I had the most fun with, I think was in Ocarina of Time, was the Spirit Temple with all the mirrors and the mirror shield.
That's a fun one, yeah. When you're bouncing the light off and all that sort of stuff.
Which I love that they recreated in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Because they have the lights and the mirrors in
Yeah.
a bunch of different temples, and I actually very much enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So
That's
I think
awesome.
Spirit Temple, Ocarina of Time,
Okay.
and I don't think I'll ever forget that Gerudo music.
Oh,
plays
yeah.
that whole time.
I
Love
mean,
it.
The soundtrack for Ocarina of Time, and that is my favorite Zelda game. Like when I loved Breath of the Wild, and I have not played Tears of the Kingdom yet.
Oh, you gotta.
I know. I honestly, I've been getting. I want to get around to doing that. I've just, it's been. I get all consumed with the show and like creating stuff and creating content. But I do need to do that because there's even so many PlayStation. Because I've always been like a Nintendo and PlayStation guy more than anything else. But Ocarina of Time. But my favorite temple is always the one that everybody's like, how is that your favorite? It's stupid. It takes too long. It's the water temple in Ocarina of Time.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Somehow I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah.
Friggin' water temple.
Yeah, but and that was the thing because my cousin would be like, I remember one time we were kids, and like I made my dad buy me a stopwatch because I told my cousin because I had played that game so many times. I was like, I can beat the water temple in 30 minutes, under 30 minutes, easily.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So my cousin's like, he's like, you're fucking full of shit. And of course, and we're like 13, 14 years old, so it was cool as shit to cuss, and all that sort of stuff. He's like, you're full of shit. You can't do it. I was like, all right, let's do it then.
Yeah.
Timing, I think it was like 25 minutes or something like that. I killed it. Like I knocked through it. But it was
Very
that.
impressive.
It'll always be one of my favorite ones because that was the hardest one. And like I felt like, oh, you know what? I won't say it's the hardest one because I remember when I first fought Phantom Ganon, I was like, this motherfucker, where is he? I couldn't figure that out. So you know what? At one point, the first time I ever played the game, I realized, no, not the first time. The second time I played the game, I realized you don't actually have to beat that temple to go to the other ones. You just have to get, what do you get in the Forest Temple? Is it the
Forest Temple?
Yeah.
You get the...
is it the long shot or the hook shot?
Is it that where you get the hook shot? I thought the hook shot you get later
I'm
on.
trying to
I thought the
remember.
hook shot you get...
Because you get the hook shot and then the long shot.
Oh. That's right. Might be the hook shot, but I thought the hook shot you got in the under the well. Is that where you got the hook shot?
I can't remember. It's been so long.
I think you get the bow
Is it the bow and arrow?
in the I'm pretty sure you get the bow in the forest temple.
That's probably-
usually
yeah,
how it
you're-
is. That
you're
was the
probably
original
right.
formula for it. You get the bow in the forest.
Yeah.
You get the hook shot in the water or shadow area.
Yeah, because you
and
definitely
then-
need in the water.
And then you always get the bombs in the fire area.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So what I did was, I must have gotten the bow, but because I was so pissed off I couldn't beat fucking Phantom Ganon. I skipped it. I skipped that whole part. I came back to that later after I went to the fire temple, and then I went and did everything else, and then I came back to the forest temple and beat it. And my cousin didn't believe me. I was like, dude, yeah, you can beat him out of order, but you have to get at least the bow. Mm-hmm. Once you have the bow, you can go to the other temples. Mm-hmm. It's not like we're in games now where you have to unlock this next level or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go in there, do all the stuff, get the bow, and then go to all the other places to beat all the other temples.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that, and I just tried it, and that's when I told my cousin. He was like, "So you're full of shit." So then I showed him. I was like, "Look, I have every other medallion except for the forest one."
Yeah.
Because fuck Phantom Ganon, that guy sucks.
I think that's one of the beauties of all the Zelda games is that they don't put a specific restriction on you in the order.
Yeah.
Because in Breath of the Wild and in Tears of the Kingdom, both of
Yeah.
them, they're like, these are all the different things that you need to do.
Yeah.
Go forth, do them.
Yeah.
And it's not like they'll be like in Breath of the Wild, in Tears of the Kingdom, they were like, oh, we've been hearing things in this specific village. Like they're trying to point you, be like, that's a good starting point. But
Yeah.
you can be like,
Yeah, but I want to go over there.
fuck that, I want to go to the Gerudo Desert instead.
Yeah.
Then it's
Yeah.
like, you can do that.
I want to go
Like, they
stop
don't
out
care.
Ganon and because somebody beat it within 30 minutes or whatever. I think it was on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you have that that kind of thing, no, I need to have my the whole spiel and all that stuff. I need to have everything before I go fight that motherfucker.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those games, they'll always mean the most to me. And I think I loved what you said about time anxiety, because maybe that just kind of came to me right now, and I thought maybe I never thought about that, but I always want to be on time.
Mm-hmm.
If I tell you I'm going to be here 9:30, I showed up at 9:15 ish.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been that way. If I tell someone I'm going to be there at a certain time, I'm going to be there at that time. I don't care if it's a party that starts at 8 o'clock. If I tell them I'm going to be there at 6, I'm going to be there at 6.
Yep.
And that's just the way I've always been. And maybe it was Majora's Mask.
Could be.
Yeah.
I have horrible time anxiety.
Yeah.
But it was never brought to my attention
Yeah.
until my wife mentioned the term time anxiety.
Yeah.
Because she has really bad time anxiety about things.
Oh, okay.
But that term I'd never
heard of till
before.
today.
And so the second she mentioned it, I was like, that's what I've been suffering from all these years.
Yeah.
Every time I've been for a flight and I'd be like, I have to be there 2 hours before on the dot.
it's
Never
all
without
become-
fail.
yeah.
And she drove me to the airport 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, I have an hour and a half before my flight with pre-checks. With LAX, it takes you 2 seconds to get through security.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I only have an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I only have an hour
What
and
am
a
I
half.
gonna do?
And then I'm like, I don't want to miss my flight.
Yeah.
And then it's you move through and you still have an hour left.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They haven't even started boarding yet. You're
Yeah.
like, I really have time anxiety.
Yeah. You know what's crazy though? When it comes to flight, and maybe it's just certain parts of my life, but I know if I'm telling somebody I'm going to their house or I'm going to a party or something like that, I will always be on time.
Mm-hmm.
Or if we're just hanging out, I'll be on time. But when I go to the airport, I will, because like you said, LAX, you can blow through security super fast. I'll show up 45 minutes before my flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I know, all right, well, I already have my seat assigned, I, do whatever. So, I'll get there, and then, because it got to a point where I was like that before, where I would, all right, I need to be there 2 hours before, 3 hours before, because you never know, it's LAX.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where I was just at one time I missed a flight, I ain't gonna lie about that.
Oh, man.
But I was here in LAX. I was in North Carolina. My sister was like, "Oh, the airport's 10 minutes away," and I think she did it on purpose because I was visiting her out there. She didn't want me to leave. So but then they told me it was delayed by an hour and a half. So I was like, "Oh, I got time." And then I get a text like, "Oh, it's actually gonna be on time." I'm like, so I called them. I'm like, "Bro, I need I need another flight. I need my at least just give me another flight. I'm not asking for my money back. Just give me another flight." Mm-hmm. And they try to give me shit about it. And then they're like, "All right, no, whatever, it's fine." And then they gave me my thing. But yeah, time anxiety. Never heard of that.
Yeah.
Your wife's a genius, it sounds like.
She is.
Yeah.
She is an amazing genius.
Yeah.
I love her. Shout out Chelsea Hogendorn.
Yeah.
Love my life.
And if you're listening to this, you're a genius.
Yeah. I think pre-check is a gift that everybody should you should not get it so that I can continue using it without having 1,000 people in mind. But
there you go.
#, you should definitely get pre-check.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely I would say Majora's Mask probably had an intense and anxiety-inducing effect on the people who played it. That constant fear of the moon is about to crash into the earth.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's going to die unless you do something.
Did you like? I know it's not controversial, but did you like Twilight Princess?
I was pretty neutral about Twilight Princess. I think I would have liked it more if I played it on the GameCube and not the Wii.
Okay, yeah.
Because on the Wii, because that was one of the first games that came out for it, it was
like fucking
required
Skyward Sword
to use the motion controls, and they were very janky, and the bow always had problems lining up. The reticule would never line up with where you're pointing. It was very frustrating.
Yeah.
I will say, it's funny that you mentioned that, actually, because I love that this term is now a core memory.
Yeah.
I have a core memory
a little inside
of one
out.
of my friends from high school. I went with him, and he got the Wii and Twilight Princess on release night at midnight. I went with him.
Awesome.
And I just have this image in my head, because when he first set it up, he was standing up, and he was using the motion controls. I went to bed, woke up, came downstairs, and all I see is I see a couch, and I see 2 arms sticking out, and I see them flailing. And I'm just like, seems about right. Yeah. It's like they wanted this game console to be an active thing, but it's like, it's Zelda.
Yeah.
No one's gonna stand there for 8 hours swinging their arm. Like, people are gonna sit on the couch and just have flailing arms.
Yeah.
So,
and that was one of the reasons I didn't want to I had the Wii, but I didn't want to get I didn't want to play Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
I was like, I tried it. I tried it with Twilight Princess, but like you said, Twilight Princess should have been on the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been a way better thing. And that's why when they re-released it on the Wii U, I was stoked, because I was like, I can use my controller. I don't have to worry about any of the bullshit. And then I have not played Skyward Sword on the Switch, and I love my Switch, but I don't play it as often as I used to. But I want to play Skyward Sword again, because that's a whole. Sure, that game came out what 15 years ago or 10 years ago, and I never got to play it. So it's like a new thing for me. None of my buddies are nerds like us. So it's like I was mentioned before, it's like, that's why before we started the show, I was like, I'm so excited because we get to talk about all this stuff. and who knew we were going to get into Zelda and Boy Meets World? Yeah. So it's like, this is like this wheelhouse for me. Yeah.
So it's funny you mentioned Skyward Sword on the Switch specifically, because my wife played it.
Oh, okay.
She's also a huge Zelda fan.
Awesome.
She has this awesome friggin' Zelda tattoo on her leg.
Oh, sick. What is it?
It's the Sheikah, the eye, with the flowers from Breath of the Wild around it. It's super awesome.
Bag yourself a good one there.
Yeah, I know. The Queen. Yeah. That's what me and our buddies in Israel, we call her the Queen.
Nice.
So she played Skyward Sword, and I watched bits and pieces of it, and she said that it was not the greatest Zelda game, because she said it was incredibly repetitive. So you fight the same, you fight bosses in the same areas over, and so you go back to the same 3 places again and again and again,
terrible,
instead of having in Ocarina of Time, you have 3 different areas, but within those 3 different areas, you end up having 3 different places that you fight things in.
Yeah.
So that at least gives you, minimally 6 different things.
Yeah.
On top of the other small things that are put in there.
Yeah.
So she's just said it was very repetitive, and she said that even on the Switch, there were certain times that you had to use the motion controls,
No.
and it was kind of bullshit.
Yeah, then
So
I'm not
was
going to do
like,
it then.
It's
Yeah.
effort that was like pointlessly put in there just because we have motion.
Yeah.
Let's use motion because we developed it.
And
it's like,
that's the thing, like, you could do it where you, like, yeah, you can have the motion ones if you want that, or you could just have a regular fucking controller.
Yeah.
Like,
Worked on the N64.
Yeah. Like, it was like, yeah, you made so many, like, and that's one thing, like, when it comes to Ocarina of Time, like, people always, when if I talk to somebody that actually loves, like, the Zelda games, I'll always say it's Ocarina because that game was it was game changing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it won Game of the Year. It almost won Game of the Year 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, when you had that, like, that game had everything. It was open world, but it was also linear. Like, you had, like, your through line. You knew you had to have all the stuff to get to Ganon. Turns out you can, just get the bow and arrow and then go to all the other temples. But you still had that linear story. Like, you knew where you were going. That's why, like, I love the Uncharted games. Like, Nathan Drake is my Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And, like, I love those games too because you can kind of, like, you see that through line, but you can kind of, like, Zelda was, like, for me, the first one where you, like what's open world?
Yeah.
Like, where you can roam freely. Like, you're not just stuck on a thing.
Not a side scroller.
Yeah. And it's like, you can go different places, and you can go to this ranch, or you can go to this one place when you're young, and then when you go there when you're older, it's different.
Yeah.
And to pack that into a fucking cartridge,
Yeah.
I mean, like, that kind of technology back then. That's why if there was one game I wish they would remake or remaster, that's the one. And I'm sure there's a million people that feel that way.
So I saw just yesterday
Yeah.
somebody, a fan was working on an Unreal Engine 4 remake.
Oh gosh, I've seen
of
some of the
Ocarina
clips.
of Time, and I was like, holy crap,
Yeah.
that looks nice.
Yeah.
But whether it's going to be done, there have been rumors,
Yeah.
but I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, what I don't get is why can't you just port your 3DS version to the Switch? Because it's more refined, it looks better.
It's just platform, background, coding issues of
But
things.
it's
I mean, this
Nintendo.
is examples of reasons why it took them so long to port things, for example, from PlayStation to Steam.
Yeah.
So I don't have a PlayStation.
Yeah.
I mostly just play things on my computer.
Yeah.
Because I have a really, awesome powered computer.
Yeah.
But the newest or the second newest God of War was released on Steam, but Ragnarok still hasn't because they're still figuring out the porting of changing from PlayStation to PC so that Steam can put it out. And
God of War is amazing. No?
Oh, it's such a good game.
Yeah.
I didn't play the original ones. I played just the one right before Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah.
That was one of those games that I got super into and addicted to.
I spoiled my cousin on it because he didn't know it was Loki, and I was like, and we were in passing, we were having Buffalo Wild Wings, and I was like, wasn't it crazy about Loki? He was like, wait, what? I was like, oh no, like, I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, it was such a good game.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Oh my god, yeah. I'm a pretty big video game nerd. I am actually I need to start and play Jedi Survivor.
Okay. So I haven't played it yet either. I played the first one, I haven't played the second one.
So the reason why I haven't started the second one yet is because I got it the day that it released on Steam, but they had massive issues, and it kept crashing on the first cutscene.
So it was like Cyberpunk?
Basically.
Yeah.
Which is also a game I need to replay now with Phantom Liberty because apparently they've rebuilt the entire game from the ground up.
Yeah.
And it's like a brand new game.
That's awesome.
Which was an awesome game to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, even, Keanu Reeves was just an extra awesome addition to it. But that was Cyberpunk
He's
was
a cherry
an
on
awesome
top.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you played Starfield?
I have not.
So
There's so many games out
there's
there.
very mixed about Starfield. I love Bethesda games.
Yeah.
I have played the hell out of Fallout. Loved them.
I've always wanted to play Fallout because it's like, there's like 4 games, 5 games?
Yeah, so there's... technically 6.
Okay.
Because there's Fallout 76 and New Vegas.
Yeah.
Aside from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4. I think Fallout 3 was the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 was good too, but it wasn't as good as 3.
Yeah.
I also have some very core memories of Fallout 3 with me and my buddy,
There you go.
who used to play that so much. So like my best friend, what we used to do is we would play. Okay, so let me give you a little background on Nadav Karen a little bit.
There we go.
So my best friend, his name is Daniel Stillman. Okay.
Okay.
So Daniel and I lived next door from each other, and what we used to do is we used to play all these RPGs together, and we would just set like a time limit or like a mission limit, and then we'd pass the controller to each other, and we'd play through so many games together.
Love that.
So many games together. And we played through Fallout 3, and we replayed that game probably like 3 or 4 times.
That's awesome.
And we would just play through every different possible direction of storyline on that game.
I love hearing that because that's how I've been with Uncharted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even going from Uncharted 4 back to 1, like on the remasters, and sure they did fix some things like texture wise and stuff like that. But like I'd be like jumping from one thing, like, oh, but in 4 I can do this, or I have my freaking a grappling hook. It's like I have my grappling hook, but like, wait, what do you mean I don't have it on the first one? Like, and you go back to it, but still, like those games, like that's one thing. One thing I when it comes to when a Nintendo and PlayStation, honestly, when I feel like Nintendo, it's mostly like Zelda games for me, but PlayStation, like the storytelling and some of their, I mean, honestly, in a lot of their first party games, like The Last of Us or God of War or Ghost of Tsushima, there was times in some of these games like, why am I crying right now?
Yeah.
Like why is this like, why am I feeling, why is this a video game tickling my heartstrings? And I feel like when it comes to I've played obviously because I have an Xbox too, and like I know I play that when I can with my buddies because we mostly play like PGA, like we play golf games. But I just I felt like when it comes to PlayStation, I feel like that's why a lot of so many times that they you have wins game of the year unless a Zelda kind of game comes out, then they're gonna win game of the year. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
But
they always sweep on that.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I just love those that something that's gonna draw me in, like that drama, that sort of that storytelling. Like if you find a game like that draws you in a certain way, whether it's Zelda or The Last of Us or any of those, that's you got me. Or Spider-Man for that matter. Like the Spider-Man games, man.
So let me ask you an interesting question.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to know.
Yeah.
What was the game, if there has been, the first one that ever made you cry?
The Last of Us.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Last of Us, the first one I think I had on my PS. Well, I had it on the PS3, and then they came out with the remaster because the PS4 came out 6 months later. So I bought the remaster too. It was The Last of Us. I'd never emotionally felt that way about a game where I felt like, man, why'd you kill that guy off? What the who do you think you are killing off all the people that I love in this thing? But it was probably The Last of Us.
Okay.
How about you?
The game that made me cry came out a long time ago.
It's okay.
And I wept. It was Chrono Cross.
The motorcycle game?
No. Chrono Cross was an RPG that came out. I can look it up exactly when it came out.
Love it.
It was a PlayStation 1 game.
Okay.
And when did Chrono Cross come out? Chrono Cross released.
Was it blue
in
writing?
1999.
Was it blue writing? Oh yeah. Okay,
that
I do remember. Yeah, I do remember that game. I fucked up on that one.
What happened in this game that made me cry was the girl, I believe her name was Kid, and she went through just horrible things of just being rejected by everybody, being like, I think it was she was like thrown away by her parents and everything. I just remember thinking like, it's a game that came out in 1990, like I was like 95, 99, like something like that, and just such a deep emotional thing you're throwing in a video game for like teenagers, like. That pulls at your heartstrings real hard. Like, I remember there was I literally played the game, went to bed, and I just started crying. Yeah. And my brother was like, "What the hell's wrong with you? Like, what are you crying for?" And I was like, "She went through all of these horrible things." My brother's like, "It's a game. Yeah. Relax." But yeah, that was the first game that ever made me cry.
I feel you though. I mean, because it doesn't matter. Like there's so many different. Obviously, there's been a million different games out there. But like when you find that one that you like connect with, like on a deeper level, whether it's Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask or Uncharted or Chrono Cross, anything like that. Like when you find something that makes you happy, like whether it's happy, sad, or a combination of both. Like it draws you back in, like even like soundtracks in video games, like it's and I'll play it for you after we're off air, and we're coming in on close breaking the record for longest episode. Was Uncharted 4. There's one scene with Nathan and his wife. Oh God, I feel so bad because I don't remember her name. And it's not because of a girl that I don't remember her name, so don't give me shit about it. Oh gosh, I can't remember her name right now.
These are games I have not played the Uncharted games, so I can't assist you on this one.
Okay, no, you're fine. But if you get to ever play, I really hope that they would do that, like take Uncharted over to Steam, because man, it's Uncharted 4 is. The closest thing to a perfect game I've ever played.
Wow.
Because like for the longest,
big praise.
Yeah. For the longest time, Ocarina of Time was my number one game of all time. And it wasn't until like even my buddies and my brothers now, if you ask them, they'll probably forget that I told them it was Uncharted 4, but they'll be like, "Oh, Ocarina of Time," for Mike. And but it's Uncharted 4 now. I mean, and it'll be cinematically, like, I mean, that's why they made the movie out of it, like, you know, and
good
it
movie.
Was, yeah, I loved it. I loved it because it was like it's a swashbuckling guy going around trying to find treasure, and it's Indiana Jones.
And it's Tom Holland.
Yeah,
freaking Tom Holland is awesome.
You got fucking Spider-Man. Just make him Indiana Jones. No, maybe not. You know, I still love Harrison, but I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch Dial of Destiny.
I stopped watching them after like the first 3 because I just heard that they were bad, especially when they brought in what's his name?
Aliens and stuff.
No, they brought in what's his name? Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, that was the 4th one. Aliens.
Yeah.
What if you had to rank the indie movies 1 through 3?
I mean, Raiders of the Lost Ark is always going to be top for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Just you know. That's who I am.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I have a connection.
Yeah.
Kill the Nazis.
Yeah.
You know, not something that you should think you should. Yeah. That's not something you should think that you should have to reiterate. But
to quote Bill and Ted, as a face-melting solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, great movies.
Banger. Yeah.
Friggin' love Bill and Ted. Excellent Adventure.
The new one was actually pretty decent too.
It was pretty decent.
I actually really liked it.
I agree.
Do you have any other comics?
Huh?
Boom Studios made the Bill and Ted comics.
Oh, I did not even know that.
I'm going to bring you. I have 2 copies of issue 1. I'm going to bring you one.
Oh my God! Yes,
that's
please.
Not saying your other present is a comic book.
Oh my God!
But I'm not going to.
Can we also talk about how Keanu Reeves has found the fountain of youth?
Yeah.
How does that dude not
I think it's
age?
the beard.
It could be. I mean, I have a beard also.
Yeah.
You have a beard too.
Yeah.
But like, that dude is forever young.
Yeah.
How the hell does he do that?
I watched Point Break the other day. I was like, fucking guy still kind of looks similar.
Yeah.
And I watched The Replacements. And I was
they are actually making a sequel to Constantine. Apparently. That's still in the works.
Okay.
Apparently the director and Akiva Grossblatt have had a meeting recently.
I'm totally fine with that.
What?
Totally fine with that. But if he does not, because I know how Hollywood is, they're like, oh, we're not going to promote smoking, but Constantine is a fucking smoker, and if you take that cigarette out of his mouth, I'm going to be pissed. He can pretend to put it in his mouth, and then somebody knock it away, Zatanna, or if you want to do that, totally fine with it.
Yeah.
But if he does not have his, I mean, it's officially the longest episode we've ever had. I love it. And we're probably going to have another beer after this.
Yes.
This could be the longest, it could be a 3-hour episode, who knows?
Let's do it.
But, what was I going to say?
Constantine,
yeah. If he does not have a cigarette in his mouth, I'm going to be furious. Because they tried to do that. I loved him in Legends of Tomorrow. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
Mm-hmm.
I love how quirky that show was.
Yeah.
Like, it was like comic book, like, if that was a movie, like, it would have been probably like, we have to go back to the Middle Ages, or we have to go back to when Jonah Hex was around, or we have to go back when the dinosaurs were around. Like, we fucked up the timeline.
Yeah.
Like, they try to be so serious in the first season, and then you realize they're like, dude, it's a comic book show. Let's be fucking goofy.
Of course.
Yeah. And that's what, like when they brought in Booster Gold, I was like, but it wasn't my Booster. Like, Booster wasn't like, like, Booster's so outlandish. It's like, I have sponsors on my shirt, or on my costume.
Oh, my God.
I fucking love Booster Gold. It'll always be one of my jams. Him and Swamp Thing.
Mm-hmm.
It goes Soups, Swamp Thing, Booster, and probably, DC-wise, and then probably Batsy. But,
Yeah.
But I digress. I went off on a whole other thing there.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
what we're here for.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
We were talking about Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah. The Fountain of Youth.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever he's drinking, I need it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get old either.
It's probably, nowadays, it's probably what all the kids drink. It's probably Prime.
Could be. That dude is the epitome of Zen.
Yeah.
And also just, like, apparently the nicest dude on the planet.
Yeah, and he's a wrestler.
It's a wrestler.
Well, he goes in wrestling. He goes in WWE, too. WWF, WWE, all that sort of stuff.
I know he has a band. They
you
play
talking about Logan
shows
Paul?
randomly. He plays shows randomly in a band.
He does?
He has a
I didn't know
band.
that. I had no idea.
I saw a thing on Reddit like 2 weeks ago. He just like randomly, him and his band played a show somewhere here in California, I think it was. And I was like, that's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Freaking Keanu Reeves.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. He has a band.
Guy just does it all.
He does it all.
Yeah. He's a, I was going to say dual threat or double threat, or I guess dual threat would probably
He
be
is
the
an
better thing.
octa-threat. He has
Yeah.
every direction. He's awesome. He's grown a lot from I Know Kung Fu.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
People couldn't see that, but I did the whole thing. Did you ever, random question, do you have Apple TV Plus?
I do.
Mystic
Apple TV.
Quest.
I have not heard of this one.
I'm going to change your life for it then.
Okay.
From today on. Do
Okay.
you like Always Sunny?
I watched the first, 6, 7 seasons. There's
Now they're like on like season 18.
Yeah, or something like that. I watched
like, might
the
as well
first
be
6,
The
7
Simpsons
seasons
at
of it,
that
and then
point.
it just got a little too much for me.
Watch Mythic Quest.
Okay.
It's about a game developer. And it's like World of Warcraft, pretty
Okay.
much. He's like a developer of World of Warcraft. And it's fucking hilarious.
Okay.
And it's Rob McElhenney from Always Sunny.
Oh, he's. I love that guy. He's hilarious.
Should we grab another beer?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess we'll be back in it'll probably be 5 minutes for us, 1 second for you. And we're back.
Mm-hmm.
Only took like 3, 4, maybe 10 minutes, who knows? I have a rice pilsner in front of me, but I'm going to save that because I'm also going to have Nadav on the intro. But it's going to be like we're traveling through time. It's like, have you ever seen the Magic School Bus? Yeah. That's a deep cut. But yeah, so Nadav's going to be on the intro for technically 3 weeks ago's episode. So thank you for being on, brother.
Oh, absolutely.
I appreciate
so
it.
happy to be here.
And we broke the record. 2 hours and almost 13 minutes and counting.
Huzzah! I feel like I need
Yeah.
a glass to break.
Yeah, exactly. Huzzah! It would have, no, if we had the... I wish I would have kept... Because I think I have the 2 bottles. The Princess Bride ones.
The Pit of Despair
Yeah,
and As You Wish.
bangers.
Those are good.
Those
They're
like
long gone, but they're
Farmstead. Those Farmstead, the ale, Wild Ales,
Those are good beers.
bangers.
Very good beers.
Yeah. And I remember, like, I told him because my brother is not a Wild Ale guy, but he tried that and he was just like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah. That Pit of Despair is like champagne.
Oh, it
so
was
highly carved.
Oh yeah, super carved and like super dry, and it was like, oh. But I wouldn't give to have that in my mouth right now. That's all I'm saying. All right. So,
Sorry to disappoint.
You're good. I'm going to end the episode here. Thank you guys so much for listening, and make sure you follow at Long Beer. So it's LB Beer.
LB Beer and
There we
LB
go.
Bread.
And LB Bread, yeah, because if you want to have the best pizza in your life, come on down here. Sourdough pizza crust. And if you're not down, I was going to quote WB. I was going to say, if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. Suck it. But I'm not going to do that. I mean, I already said it. So
Here we are.
yeah. But yeah, me and Nadav are going to record the intro for 3 weeks ago, today's episode. So there we go.
Time is just
Back
a wibbly
in
wobbly.
time.
I was going to quote Doctor Who.
Oh, either way, yeah.
You know, time is more of a wibbly wobbly,
Yeah.
timey-wimey
Yeah.
thing. Or
Oobity-
from, what's it
oobity
called?
goobity.
That show. Oh
Back
my
to
God.
the Future.
No,
I'm
that's
just
a movie.
kidding. I said Back in Time.
The Good Place. Time
Oh,
is
banger.
Oh,
my Lord. Can we just go for 5 minutes about
what was
The
his,
Good Place?
Oh my God! What
Can
is,
we-
what is
Ted fucking dancing.
No, I know. But
Oh.
he said that time is the way that it's
A
written
squiggly line.
is a guy's signature.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. It's been a while since I've seen that
Why
show.
can I not remember?
How good was that show, though?
I love that show.
Yeah, it was so good. And, like, you know what's crazy? It was like the big, like, thing was just like, oh, you're actually in hell.
Yeah, Jeremy Bearimy. That's
There
what
you
it
go,
is.
yeah.
Time is a Jeremy Bearimy. Right on Jeremy Bearimy that comes around again. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, best way to end the episode.
Absolutely.
And we're going to record an intro right now, so.
Here's to Jeremy Bearimy.
So when everybody hears this, yeah, cheers to Jeremy Bearimy. We'll do that. And when you guys listen to this, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck's going on?" Because time's everywhere. You need to get the fuck out of here with some of your stuff you guys are doing.
Yeah.
That's super light, and it's like, I feel like that's the kind of one where I was gonna say crush like 30 or 40 on the course, but I'd probably be dead on the last green. But drink responsibly, though. That's all I'm saying.
Drink responsibly as you can.
Yeah.
You know.
And watch Boy Meets World.
Yeah. Have
Play
a
Zelda
designated
games.
driver.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Watch Boy Meets World. Play Zelda games. Maybe, enjoy Star Wars if they put out good stuff. And drink good beer.
And all that we can ever hope for is may the force be with you.
Yeah. I was gonna quote Happy Gilmore, but I'm not gonna do that.
There you go.
All right,
Hey, do that.
Gold
Go
jacket,
down
green
all-
jacket, who gives a shit? And that's the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Love you, Tap Fam. And we're back again. You thought the episode was over. And
Can't
it's
stop,
not.
won't stop.
Yeah. I will do the intro later on. The outro, later on. I'll do the intro later on, too. Technically, in the future. No, technically, this would have been the past, I guess, if we're following Back to the Future logic, I guess. Right?
Depends if we're going back to 1985.
85? Yeah, I think it was 85.
85. Sounds right.
If I would have had that sports almanac, man, could have been a millionaire by now. But we talked about earlier how the Song of Storms sounds like Game of Thrones. So I feel like, this isn't monetized, so we're okay to do this. Don't sue me. I didn't do anything. I'll take the episode. I won't take the episode down. I'll just edit this part out. Technically, I already said it was the end of the episode, so I could technically edit it out.
This is just an extra.
Exactly. So, Song of Storms. Here we go. This is with rain. But with rain, I feel like it's going to throw it off.
I think you just need the classic.
Yeah, Song of Storms. No, not with rain. Oh, here we go. I think this might be the one.
That doesn't sound right. Hold on.
You might have to find it.
I think I can. Yeah, I can get it.
I'll do the Game of Thrones one. You do the Song of Storms.
Okay.
Bam, 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 bam. Oh, here we go. I can hear it. So Game of Thrones just ripped off?
Like it's not exactly, but like it's,
That's pretty close.
It's not similar.
Yeah. Can we restart that? And I'm gonna do this part at the same time. Maybe it was a little slower on
It
this
sounds
end.
like a little more metally.
Still pretty close though.
Yeah.
You just blew my mind again. You did it already 3 times with your beer, so 4 times now.
Just a little deep dive on
Yeah.
some interesting
Yeah.
things I've noticed.
You guys thought it was over, but it's not. It's not. Well, to quote Rocky, it's not over. But man, I like and I think I've said a thank you like 1,000 times today to you, but I actually really mean it. Like I say it so much because I want you to know what it means to me. So
I appreciate you as a person.
Yeah.
I definitely echo what you said before.
yeah,
Hanging out with you, talking with you.
yeah,
Definitely feel like, you've made like a true connection and a real
for
friend.
sure. Yeah.
Someone you've been able to really connect to and talk about things
yeah.
like Star Wars and beer and video games and stuff. I will say that there are very few people that I've met in my 32 years of life that I've been able to sit and talk to and just, forget about time.
Yeah.
And you just talk and you don't even realize what time it is and how long you've been talking.
Yeah.
And you just cover different topics and you just keep talking.
Yeah.
And it's very special to be able to hang out and talk with you about this stuff because it's not easy to find someone that you share interests with that you can talk to about all these different topics and just endlessly keep going.
A genuine connection from whether it's Boy Meets World or Star Wars or anything else, like just being able to or beer, obviously.
Yeah.
This is a beer show. But
what we started with.
yeah. But I'll always feel like, with you and I, it was like, because I would still message you every once in a while after the show, like, because obviously I'm not going to bug you. I don't want to blow up your. I'm not sliding into your DMs or anything like that. But I mean, like, I'm just like I would text you like, hey man, how excited are you about Ahsoka or about Obi-Wan or about Ahsoka or whatever, and we can months could go by, but we can still sit. We sit here now, and it's like we were talking yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like nothing changed.
No, absolutely.
And that's the best part for me.
That's what friendship is.
Yeah. I'm shaking my head. I'm doing the happy dance. It's fine. Don't you guys can't see me, so it's fine. I did a hard pour on my rice pilsner. Still delicious, by the way.
It's a good one.
Oh no, you guys killed it. And Untitled Art too. Like I love their can artwork. Like it's so simplistic and but it's like it's still eye catching.
Yeah, very much so. They are a fantastic brewery. We had a really fun time. I mean, this was the first batch that we made of this back when we first released it was called a Crispy Pair of Levi's.
Yeah.
Because their lead guy is Levi Funk.
Yeah.
And then obviously our here is Levi Fried. And we had a lot of fun brewing that together here.
That's awesome.
And then they made a massive batch of it and just sent it out across everywhere. Which was it was pretty big for us to get our names spread around. So major shout out and thank you to Untitled Art for
that's awesome, man.
Brewing that big ass batch of beer up on their end and sending it out everywhere.
Well, you guys killed it.
Yeah, it's a good collab. It was a fun time. Good beer. Fun idea. Throw garbanzo beans in beer.
Garbanzo beans, rice. What more do you need? Rice holes are important.
They are.
Yeah.
They certainly are.
They'll take care of you. I think I think when we first talked to you, it was like I remember asking like, oh, have you ever stuck mash and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. And I remember we talked about rice holes being important. Mm-hmm. But you know what's crazy about that day, or not crazy, but like my uncle who's only drinks hazies. Mm-hmm. But that day you poured us one out of one of the tanks. Mm-hmm. He's like, fuck, that was good. And it was a porter. And I was like, you just drank a porter? He was like, oh, I did? I was like, it's black. He was like, look at the thing. It was delicious.
I don't even remember what beer that was.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I have a video of you on my phone pouring it. And I'm like, and he tried it. He was like, fuck, out of the tank. That's pretty fucking good.
Oh, yeah. I think that was the Schwartz beer. Because
that
was right before,
May the Schwartz
right
be with you.
Star Wars
it was
Day.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Yeah, Schwartz be with you.
Because I came back and got some of those beers.
Yeah.
May the Schwartz. That movie doesn't get enough credit. Like Bill Pullman. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's so good in like Independence Day, but he was so good in Spaceballs. Yeah, I almost said Space Wars, but yeah, Spaceballs.
I read something really funny recently. Someone was like, in all of those movies, has anyone ever actually said the words Star Wars?
Yeah. Wait a second. Now I'm thinking, I was like, have they?
No, they haven't. No,
they haven't?
No. Because they lived them. Like, as
yeah,
Marshall from How I Met Your Mother said,
yeah, they lived the Star Wars.
They lived the Star Wars.
So you love How I Met Your Mother?
Of course I do.
Oh, God. Like, I love that show. Like, that's like...
Up until the last season.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So I give them credit for the last season because of the fact that they were originally only supposed to be 9 episodes. Mm-hmm. And then that other big show that they had got canceled.
What was the other big show?
It was remember when Robin dated Kevin, the therapist? Uh-huh. It was supposed to be his show. Like, he was supposed to come in and, like, his show was supposed to take over on the back end and do, like, 10 episodes or whatever. And they were like, hey, can you guys do another 10?
Interesting.
Yeah. And I found that out after. I mean, because I'm such a...
Kevin until, like...
Season 7,
yeah,
I think,
like way later.
So, like, but when season 9 was going on, that's when, Kevin's, I keep calling him Kevin, but it's Josh, is it something Penn? No, that's not, that's a different guy.
No, that's,
it was right, Harold and Kumar.
Yeah. No, it's not Kumar.
Yeah.
That's a different guy.
But he's supposed to, like, so they were only supposed to do
Cal
10
Penn.
episodes. There you go. Cal Penn?
Yeah.
I said Penn, right?
Yeah.
I was pretty good. I said Carl Penn, I think. I don't know. Either way. Close enough. But, yeah, they were supposed to finish that episode. And then, not that episode, that season after 10 episodes of season 9 of How I Met Your Mother. And then Cal Penn's show was supposed to take over.
Interesting.
But because it bombed, the pilot bombed, they're like, yeah. They asked How I Met Your Mother to do 9 more episodes. Mm-hmm. So that's why it seems like it's so dragged out the last season. But
it's not even that. It's just I just hated the last season because
the Robin thing or what?
Well, yeah, that, but also the fact, like, okay, I figured out.
Yeah,
I think it was like season 3.
Yeah,
or something. Like, at that point, I was like, the mother's obviously dead.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be going this
for sure.
far. But I think that even if they were going to kill off the mother, which obviously they did, even if they were going to do that, they didn't have to backtrack back into Robin.
Yeah.
Because they should have just called the show How I Met Your Stepmom.
Yeah.
You know, like...
for sure. And one thing a lot of people like tell me, and I agree with, is like you could have ended it at them meeting at the after Robin and Barney's wedding. You didn't have to go further than that.
Yeah, at the train station.
Oh yeah. What's crazy to me is like Tracy. It's crazy how I think it's like season. Remember when Barney goes to like he's like working at a soup kitchen on Thanksgiving, and he's like employee of the month every month, and they're like, and then they go to like, Barney's like, He's like, no, they get kicked out of, well, Ted and Robin get kicked out of the thing, and Barney gets kicked out of working at the soup kitchen for Thanksgiving, and then they go to that strip club. And he's just like, and that, kids, is How I Met Your Mother, but she says her name is Tracy.
Yeah.
But nobody ever realizes that until later. Oh shit. Like, he said the name Tracy to trick his kids. Mm-hmm. Because that was her actual real name. So we would have known her name after, like, season 2 or 3, maybe.
I didn't even remember that.
Yeah. He said, and she's just like, and she's like, oh, my name's whatever. And then she's like, oh, but my real name is Tracy. And he's like, and that, kids, is How I Met Your Mother. And they're like, what? They freak out.
Yeah.
But what I also didn't know was that I guess the creators of How I Met Your Mother said that they told the kids how the show was going to end from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Well, they had to film them.
Yeah. So that's why they filmed all that stuff within that first year for the kids. Just filmed them in different T-shirts or whatever.
I mean, otherwise they'd be modeled.
Maybe like we were like how the fuck did you guys wear the
you've been
same
telling
thing every
this
day?
story for 9 years.
Yeah, and I love that it was Saget too, because Saget was, he's funny as shit. Like I mean, even like Full House, Bob Saget and all that sort of stuff. But How I Met Your Mother, like, okay, and I'm just gonna say this because I feel like it needs to be said. We both love How I Met Your Mother. We both love Boy Meets World. We both love Star Wars. We both love Zelda. We both love beer, obviously. Where the hell have you been all my life?
Been hiding in my living room.
Hiding in my... Oh, is that Mr. Burns when he does that? In my
lair.
temple. In my fortress of solitude. No, but man, like, we connected so well on that first episode, and I feel like shit just blew, like, we blew the roof off the place. I feel like, at least on my brain anyway. Like, of how much, like, I knew we had a lot in common, but I realized how much we had in common.
Oh man, yeah, dude, this
And
is
if
what
your wife's
happens when
into the
two
same stuff-
mega nerds get together.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage when they got together, the mega powers exploded.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. I need to meet your wife. Mm-hmm. Is she gonna be here for the Big Lebowski?
Yeah, she'll be here for the Big Lebowski. We're also gonna have a big party, a going away party.
Should we record that day?
We can try. We'll see how sober I am.
What if we just do an intro? Like, I'll bring, like, lapel mics. We'll do an intro and an outro to say goodbye.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
that's what I'm saying. That party, I cannot promise that I'll be sober.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I can
know
make you do a cake stand in your own brewery, not saying that I want to
sciatic
do that.
nerve will allow it.
Yeah, I'm not saying I want to do that, but I kind of want to do that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
I think what I would probably do is I'd probably take a direct tank pour
There you
to
go.
the face.
Either way. To quote, fuck, I was going to quote How I Met Your Mother, but I lost it. Shunjitsu. That's such a great episode. The Ducky Tie.
The Ducky Tie.
Yeah.
You know, after I watched that, because when I first started watching How I Met Your Mother, I was still working I was working a corporate job.
Yeah.
I almost bought a ducky tie.
Oh, did you?
I did. I was like, I could do that. I can wear a ducky tie.
I think I could nail
could
that.
pull that off.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I love the episode when he wants to take it off because he's dating Nora, and he's just like, it's a whole scene from Indiana Jones, pretty much. And
really gonna wear that?
Yeah. Fucking Barney.
Yeah.
He's so good though. Like Neil Patrick Harris, like, and honestly, good for him. Like to revitalize. I feel like the show revitalized his career because I mean he was Doogie, and back then it was all about like. They put people in boxes. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, you're a TV actor. You stay over there. There was rarely, like, Tom Hanks was one of them, got out of it. Clooney got out of it. But, I mean, it was rare. Or even Robin Williams. Robin Williams was another guy that was like a TV actor and was able to go into movies.
Yeah.
but it was rare to kind of see that. Like, you didn't see that very often where you saw one guy go from one platform to another.
Yeah. And, talking about Barney, I will say that as much as I hated the last season, I think the greatest piece of acting that Neil Patrick Harris did in that show was in that last episode.
When he's holding the baby?
He's holding the baby.
You are my world, and
Yeah.
I'm going to do
everything
he's like,
I have ever been and will be is yours. I think, like, that was the most emotional. I think I cried.
Yeah. No, but I love that, though, because, like, I think even late when I think maybe it's an episode before when Ted marries Tracy, and he's like, we're closing down McLaren's, and he's like, no, 7:45, and he's like, he's the one that always wanted to close the place down.
Yeah.
And you saw that character development, and it's about, like, just seeing that growth within a character. And we talked about that, whether it was Link, whether it was Ahsoka, whether it's like, obviously Hera not being very good, and all these, like, all these different shows we've talked about today, or Boy Meets World for that matter. I feel like that's kind of the one that, like, whether it was the most character, especially with Feeny, like learning about what life is and how to be a good person.
Yeah.
And how to just, like, it doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what kind of beer you like. It doesn't matter if you like Untapped. It what matters is like if you have an experience, and I say that as Untapped as a joke, so don't fucking crucify me. I'm sorry. But I'm just trying to say that, like, because there are people on the Untapped like, oh, I went to this brewery, I had this beer. It's not really my style. One star. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if it's not your style, then don't fucking rate it. I'm sorry. Like, just don't do that. Like, just be better.
Yeah.
Just be better.
There's a reason why I deleted Untapped off my phone.
Yeah.
So. It's
Just be
just
better.
like another form of social media that just makes you feel bad.
Yeah. Just thank you for shitting on my life's work. Yeah.
I only spent like a month on this. But,
Even though you
whatever.
didn't really, it wasn't really your style. Thanks
Yeah.
for shitting on my life's work. Yeah.
It is what it is. It's whatever.
Yeah. No, but it's a part of the industry too, though.
Yeah.
It's a part of the industry, and you can only do what you can. But there's always going to be those, those people.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, at least my belief is, that there's better good people. I mean, there's more good people in the world than there are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that's right. But
I hope you're correct.
Yeah, I hope so.
That's what what I'll say.
But I mean, there's no guarantees anymore. But we're 236. Let's make it an even 240.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it's.
I think we've kind of done it all,
Yeah.
though.
I think we've crossed the streams
Yeah.
of life.
Crossing
Everything on
streams.
here, so.
Who doesn't like to cross streams? Did you like the new Ghostbusters?
I haven't watched it.
Oh, okay. Well, this isn't. I'm not. Okay, so don't give me shit about this, people that are listening. There's nothing to do with the Ghostbusters being female, but that movie wasn't good. The new one, the newest one, Afterlife, with the kids. It's like if it would be like if Stranger Things and Ghostbusters had a baby.
So Stranger Things,
Yeah,
because Stranger Things does have
yeah.
ghosts. Okay,
If
interesting.
there's something strange,
In your neighborhood.
who are you gonna call?
Check it out. It was funny that you mentioned that because when I was in Atlanta, my buddy he put on for his kid the new Scooby-Doo.
There's a new Scooby-Doo?
There's new Scooby-Doo, and the first episode starts off when all of them are kids, but they're all like Gen Z kids with iPhones.
Oh, Shaggy's still smoking out, though?
I mean, not when he's a kid, but you can tell that he definitely hit it hard when they flash forward to when they're adults. You're like, whoa. But I mean, with their society, it's legal, so like, Yeah, that was interesting. Scooby-Doo was way too easily understandable,
Yeah.
but
Oh, you know what? Now that we're doing that, let's get to the 240 mark. What's your favorite cartoon as a kid?
my favorite. I don't know what I had
That's
a lot
tough.
of favorites.
Okay, look, top 5.
Okay.
Oh, you can do top 3.
few.
Top
Ronin Warriors,
3. Okay.
which was an anime that got real dark.
Yeah.
Ronin Warriors.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that one. I've heard of it.
It's like an anime that's like
yeah.
a deep cut.
Yeah.
Really good. I think when I was really little, Hysteria. I don't know if you remember
Is
Hysteria.
that the okay? Hysteria.
It
I
came
know the
on
name.
with Animaniacs.
Is that the no? Is that the history one?
It was the history one that
Yeah, they
was
talk
like
about, like, John Crapper.
sarcasm.
Yeah.
Exactly, like sarcastic form of history.
One of my favorite shows of all time, and I can never remember the name of it.
And every time I mention it to people, people are like, "I don't know what show you're talking about."
Yeah.
So that would be 2. Another one from a kid, I would say Shaman King.
I don't think I remember that one.
Shaman King was another anime,
Okay.
which was good. So that's 3. What were my other favorite shows as a kid?
Oh, and it doesn't have to be animated. It could be.
No,
like,
I know. I'm just thinking of like anything from when I was a kid. Saved by the Bell.
Banger, obviously. I mean,
Love that one.
I had the biggest
And
crush on Lisa Turtle.
I
I'm
had
gonna
the
lie about
biggest
it.
crush on what's her face? Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Oh, yeah,
Or
Kelly
Kelly
Kapowski.
Kapowski, that's it.
Banger.
And I don't know what the 5th one would be. I don't know why I'm like drawn. Oh, you know what? It would probably be Mega Man.
Ooh.
Loved Mega Man.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Mega Man as a kid, like it was like one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games was Mega Man Legends.
Oh, that was the open world one.
That was
Yeah.
like the 3D one. Like everything was side scroller before. Then they made Mega Man Legends, and I remember me and my cousin. The disc was so scratched, so we bought I had like the black chapstick because I read in like a tips and tricks. Throwback to tips and tricks. You would rub the black chapstick, not the other ones, but you had to be the black one. You rub the black one on the disc, and then you wipe it off with a soft cloth. Son of a bitch worked.
Fills in the gaps.
Yeah, man. Because at one point in the game, like, you have to go across the sea, and like we would start, and then the game would just. I'm like, oh no, and it was just that part that was messed up.
Yeah.
So we filled in the scratch with the black black chapstick, and it worked.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I never read
it was
that
like yeah,
before.
because it was on tips and tricks, and I was like, oh, they said you can do this. Because if not, you had to buy a disc cleaner from GameStop.
I bought multiple.
Or like EB Games or wherever.
And they never worked.
Oh yeah, they never did. That's why I felt like the chapstick was like worked even better. Like it was like,
It's like a cheat
oh
code there.
yeah, we could play it. It fills in the stuff, and it cost me like $1.29.
Did you play Mega Man X?
Oh,
The side scroller one where you get the X armor?
no, I don't think I played that. I don't think I played that one. I played a few of the Mega Mans as a kid, the side scroller ones, but I don't think I played that one.
X was a great one. It was one of those ones that once you played it like 3 times, you could figure out how to get all the X armor before you beat any of the bosses.
Oh.
So you could just jump between levels and then just go through and just like plow your way through the whole game.
Oh,
Just a good game. Did you ever play? Or we're just riffing off into deep
StarCraft?
end now. StarCraft. Played Warcraft 3.
but in StarCraft, who were you?
I
What
played
race?
as the.
I was Protoss all the way.
I did Terrans.
I was Protoss. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
My
because they had
brother played
lightsabers.
it.
It
My
looked like
brother
they had
played as
lightsabers
the
coming out of their
Protoss
hands.
all the time.
Yeah, I love Protoss.
Have you ever played on PlayStation 1? This game's a little bit of a deep cut PlayStation 1
okay.
game. Legend of Dragoon.
Yes.
Oh yeah?
A long time ago.
Freaking great game.
But yes.
That was another one that actually, by the end of it, like, there was like real deep story there.
Oh, yeah.
Made you feel things.
Yeah.
It also had the longest boss battle final boss battle I ever played in my life. But it took minimum 40 minutes to get through it.
Yeah.
But
I was trying to think of like other boss battles that I've had where like it took that long.
so the two longest boss battles that I know of are Legend of Dragoon, because the boss would do an attack that had a cutscene that would take literally about 7 minutes. So I remember me and my brother, when we'd play that game, he would just like switch the input to TV and he'd put a timer and then we'd go back to it. And then also Final Fantasy VII, Sephiroth had his attack, which was the...
Might as well call it the motherfucker attack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when he was in Safer Sephiroth, he would have his attack that would do that whole cutscene
Yeah.
that would go on for forever. So...
Did you like, Kingdom Hearts?
I did like Kingdom Hearts.
They brought Sephiroth back in that. I was like, motherfuckers.
That last game got very ridiculous. I played it,
The cutscenes.
but it was ridiculous.
Waiting like, it felt like 37 years. Or, no. Oh, I'm going to quote Eric Matthews on this. he's like, when he grabs Feeney's credit card when he's working in the student union in college, he's like, what is this? He said, what is it? He says, this expired for 37 years. He's like, that's card member since. Classic. But that game, like it felt like every cutscene was like 20 minutes. And I'm just like, dude, like, I'm just trying to get through the game. Like, maybe give me a minute or two cutscene.
Give
I
me a
understand that.
skip button.
Yeah. And there was no skip button. And it's fucking John, I'm like, and it's like, fucking get the, like, I mean, that was obviously not a good Donald Duck, so don't judge me on that. I could do Stitch, but that's about it. But, like, it was just a pain in the ass. It was a pain in the ass to get through.
So there was one specific part of that game that there was actually an entire Reddit post about.
Oh, really?
And it's something that I am exactly with all these other people on this Reddit post. It was in Kingdom Hearts 1. It is in that battle where you fight Riku towards the end of the game.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really hard fight. And if you lost, you had to rewatch that cutscene right before, which was a 5-minute cutscene. And every single person who has played that game multiple times will have the same thing ingrained in their memory till the end of time, which is you're not taking Kyrie's heart. And everybody always remembers the way that, you know, what was it? Was it Chad Michael Murray was who voiced him? Or it was one of those people from the Home Improvement.
Yeah.
It was one of those kids. And they voiced the thing.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
That's what it was. Jonathan, I think it was Jonathan Taylor Thomas. And it was one of the two of them. And
There's someone with 3 names.
And there was that voice, and he recorded that line that says, "There's no way you're taking Kyrie's heart." And the way that he says it, every kid who played that game and lost that battle multiple times has that is ingrained in their memory.
Oh yeah. Well, you just saw me put my head down.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, fuck. Like it just like I just got depressed.
Yeah.
Because
Everybody
it was like-
remembers that.
Yeah. You find that when you find that level or that game or that part of a game, then you're like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
For me, it was Castlevania. It's Castlevania 64. Because the jumping mechanics were so bad.
I haven't played it, but I have heard.
They were so bad. Like, you would be like, oh, I got that jump. Easy. Make that jump and... Like, oh.
I feel like jump mechanics were so new at that time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games that have really bad jump mechanics.
But it's crazy, like Nintendo... Mario 64 was so good. Like, the jump mechanic, obviously, it's Nintendo making it. Like, it wasn't a third-party publisher. But they were so good at that. And like everything was like the double jump, the triple jump, all that stuff was great. Tossing the penguin off the cliff. Who didn't do that? But Castlevania, man, that was the game that it frustrated. And you had to be like, even there was one point in the game where I felt like, well, not that I felt like, I had to look on I had to go online. I had to, I hear the fucking AOL fucking do all that shit. Like, what am I supposed to do here? And it's like, oh, you're supposed to wait till it turns 6 o'clock at night to do this. I'm like, how fucking long do I have to wait? Like, what's the game engine? Like, what time is it in the game? It doesn't tell you. There's no clock there.
Yeah.
So I had to wait to find the right time to go into the door and then to see the blood come down on her face. And then there's a key there now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but like, if you imagine trying the kids doing that now, they'd be like, they'd fucking chuck their controller, probably throw it through the TV and walk away.
Well, that's what the Prima Ultimate guides were for back in the day.
You're right. Yeah, just video games, man. Like, they'll drive you crazy, but they will also, like, you play them and you're like, well, son of a bitch, you got me.
Yeah.
Like, and there's also games now, too, where I'm like, all right, well, my wallet's here. Take whatever's in there.
Yeah.
It's yours now.
Well, it was like from Futurama, where he's like, take my money.
Yeah. One of my favorite Futurama episodes is when, what's his name? Not Bender. I would say Bender's Bender, but, the main character.
Fry.
Yeah. When he, he wakes up and he's in the future and he goes to the bank. He's like, I had $2 in my account. Why am I to go to the bank? And he's a millionaire when he wakes up. And I'm like,
oh, if only it was so easy.
yeah.
$2 with interest.
Just need that almanac, man. Because we're back in time. It's like the fourth time I've said that. So.
Now it's just a throwback.
Yeah. It's a throwback. It's in the future. It's in the past. It's all at one time.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Back.
All right. Well,
it's 2 o'clock.
We're at 2:49.
Yeah.
We're just about at 2:50, so let's end it at 2:50.
Yeah. I think it's about time.
I appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
I'm happy we got to hang out. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, I'm going to be there at 9:15. I'll probably be gone by 12. And it's 2 o'clock now.
Yeah.
But this has been an absolute blast. And this will be the end of the episode. So, I'm sorry, not sorry. So
Nah, it's all.
I
it's all
appreciate
good
you,
time.
brother.
Absolutely. Appreciate you too, man.
We'll finish this beer and we'll get on out of here.
All right.
Cheers, Tap Fam. Love you. Make sure you follow at Jewish Beer Guy.
That's me.
Nadav. And also LB Beer on Instagram. And love you guys. And, you be good, you jagaloons. All right, Tap Fam. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Obviously, I had a good time recording it. It was a long one, I know. But it was just really fun, man. And I was really excited. I got to hang out with Nadav again and be able to kind of shoot the shit and do all that sort of stuff. But like I said, I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys have a great week. And you stay classy, Tap Fam. Take care.